What is going on, everybody? How we doing today? As usual, hope we're doing well. It is a Wednesday, actually, funny enough, but not just any Wednesday. It is Christmas Eve, and we have 1 hour and 1 minute until Christmas Day. Hope you're having a good Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate. Not happy holidays. Not happy holidays. Hope you guys can hear me. I believe last time I had an issue with nope, my mic should be all good right now. It looks like it's coming in a little bit low though, which is a little bit annoying because every single time I have to adjust my mic. I don't touch my mic. I don't do anything software or hardware related to mess with my microphone in any way. And yet, every time I stream, I have to recheck to make sure everything's all good. You know, Santa over Mars right now. Yes, sir. Santa's at the moon base right now. Santa's at the moon base dropping off toys to German kids. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Jupiter gonna take a while. Hell yeah. Oh man, what's going on, Cherry Blossom? How you doing? Watching on Twitch, of course. Um, I have a canker sore right on the tip of my tongue, and it's really annoying. It's just really annoying. But yes, Christmas time. I have the house to myself tonight because my wife is at some friend's house. One of the nice things about having a wife that is from a different country that speaks a different language is that it becomes a little bit more acceptable for you to be like, no, babe, just go to your fucking friend's house and it's cool. I'll be at home. You don't have to hang out with your wife's friends nearly as much when it's there's a language barrier. There's no way in hell I was going to be sitting in the corner while everybody speaks Portuguese back and forth. And I vetted, it's all good. No weird shit goes on there. It's all girls. Just it's only girls only. Um mm, Man, but yeah, anyway, got the house to myself. It's just me and the dog, and we're gonna be bringing in Christmas alone this year. Which I'm not gonna lie, it is a little bit weird to be alone on Christmas again, even though I'm not really alone. My wife's gonna be back in the morning. She's got her sister and her brother with her as well. They're at their friend's house, and they're gonna be spending the night. It is a little bit weird, to go from like years of having a wife on Christmas to just like, oh well, it's not like I don't have her, but also she's not here right now. It is a little bit weird. It is a little bit weird, but I had a good time at my family's house. I brought home tons of food, and yeah, we're gonna have a good time tonight. I don't have anything huge planned. We're just gonna be talking about whatever we feel like talking about, and that of course includes Christ, Jesus Christ. Christ Jesus, however you prefer to put that. What's going on, MF Doomer? What is going on, Smart Moron? Hope you're doing well. And if I didn't say hello to Zach yet, hello, Zach. I know I said hello to you, Cherry Blossom. And Merry Christmas to all of you. Um, Man, there's, you know, every year there's a war on Christmas. It's the only holiday. And I'm sure you see the same thing with Easter, but it's the only holiday that you really see get attacked, and it just shows you how awful people are. Whether it's people of a different religion or if it's people of no religion who are like, actually, it's Saturnalia. It's Saturnalia. It really shows you just how fucking stupid and willing to believe anything people are. Just like with it's like the Saturnalia lie is like Howard Zinn tier propaganda bullshit, like stuff that never happened, that was just dreamt up by some fucking guy who got bar mitzvahed when he was 14, who he's got a grudge for some fucking reason, and because of that he's like, well, actually, the Romans had this thing called Saturnalia, and it because of that, because the Romans did something in a similar time frame, not even like a similar time frame either. It's just like complete coincidence. It's like saying that because my birthday and Randy Savage's birthday are on the same day. The Macho Man Randy Savage, he was born November 15th. I was born November 15th. Just because he and I were born on the same day and he came before me, it's not my birthday. It's the Macho Man Randy Savage's birthday, and I just stole it from him. You know, that's the type of shit that they're doing. And then on top of that, any religious scholar, it doesn't even have to be like a respected one, like literally any guy who like majors in religion in college, regardless of which college it is, it could be fucking backwoods dumbass university. They're all going to tell you, no, actually, Christmas was not placed there as a means to try and co-opt Saturnalia so that the Romans would be like, oh, well, okay, I guess it's fine. We can do this Christmas thing. That's not what it was. Shut up, you know? Um, it's just it's so disgusting and it's so transparent. You know, I saw this one dude Israel flag in his profile on Twitter, and he's like, yearly reminder, Jesus is Jewish. It's December 23rd. It's like, no, he wasn't. Nope. He You can say he was Jewish, but what you consider to be Jewish and what Jesus was are two completely fucking different things. Okay, it's either A, Jesus was not Jewish, or B, you are not Jewish. You are something else. It's one of the two. But you and Jesus are absolutely positively nothing alike. And you saying the same words that you think he might have said back then don't make you anything alike in any way, shape, or form. And no, I'm not gonna worship you, you fucking idiot. You know, jump off a fucking cliff. Fucking moron. But it's just disgusting that we can't have our holiday, you know. I see they like for instance, they renamed the Christmas parade in my town the parade of lights, which is a nod to Hanukkah, by the way. It's funny, there's a lot of things that they changed from Christmas to Hanukkah stuff, but it's low key stuff. And since Hanukkah is called the festival of lights, right? Well, you know, I mean, yeah, Hanukkah's the festival of lights, but lights are not just a Hanukkah thing. So yeah, it's the parade of lights is what it is. And now like they're putting menorahs and literally big ass dreidels in the middle of my town. And here's the thing, like I don't like it is what it is. If you're Jewish, that just like whatever, you're Jewish. I think you should accept Christ into your heart, but whatever. Like that's between you and God. I got nothing to do with that. But like, I don't mind that you're celebrating Hanukkah. I don't mind that there's a menorah in town and there's a fucking like literally a big ass dreidel in town. It got blown over because there was like crazy winds over the last week. I don't mind that. Whatever, it's cool by me. But you can't simultaneously be putting up Hanukkah shit and then trying to change Christmas stuff to low key Hanukkah shit, or at the very least make it into some like, well, actually, we shouldn't do Christmas because not everybody celebrates Christmas. Only like 98% of the country celebrates Christmas. even even all the illegal immigrants we bring in, they're Catholics. But you know, we shouldn't. We gotta call it something else. What about the parade of lights? Like that's it's gross to me. It's disgusting. You know, and like it's not like I'm the first person to ever complain about this. Obviously, like if anything, it's tired by now. I choose to just ignore haters and do what I'm gonna do, and I think that's the winning move, especially in today's world. But like, it does get fucking tiring when you see that type of shit. You know, a Jewish guy waiting until Christmas time to be like, actually, your quote unquote Messiah who's boiling in excrement in fucking Sheol. You know, it's just like, get out of my face, get out of my face. Don't ever let me see you in person, because I will shake your hand and I'll give you a pat on the back and I will inform you of how offensive that is what it is what I'll do. um no, but you know, it is what it is, you know. Years and years, another thing, right? Years and years of Christmas carols becoming more and more secular, and the secular Christmas carols are written by non-Christians as well. It's just it's interesting to me. It's interesting. They want to replace us, no question. They want to take what our culture built. Oh yeah, completely and totally. You know, for years and years, America was a place where immigrants could come and they could fold themselves into the fabric of the country. And I mean, yeah, they were gonna bring their traditions and things with them, but up until the 1960s, it was pretty much okay. You had generations where it would be like the first generation, okay, they're fresh off the boat from Ireland, Italy, wherever. If you're on the West Coast, could be an Asian country. If you're in the Midwest, a lot of the time, you know, Scandinavians and Germanics went to the Midwest and stuff like that. Um, it's all good, you know. Like within a generation, everybody's just an American, and that's just how it is. That's just what it was, you know. Um, you had a lot of generations like my great great grandfather, who I talk about any opportunity that I can, who served in the Civil War. He was willing to bleed to become an American. He didn't just come here and like, hey lad, give me citizenship. That's a terrible fucking Irish accent, but you get the idea, right? It wasn't just that. He joined the army to try and preserve the Union. And I know, Northern scum, whatever, blah blah blah. But the point is, like, he fought, you know, and so many other ancestors of mine fought, or at the very least were willing to fight if there was no war going on at the time, you know? It's just fucking annoying. It's just stupid, you know? And now we have people coming to these countries, coming to our country, who are just straight up like, no, I don't want to become part of the country. I want to become the country, and I want to replace their flag with mine. And it's like, shut the fuck up, you know? Um, it started with rejection of Christ and has nothing to do with the religion of Christ, which was formed around the Mosaic covenant and temple sacrifice. I'm not a, excuse me, jeez, I'm not a religious scholar by any means. By the way, what's going on, Meme Ranch? How you doing? And what's going on, everybody else who popped in? I'm just saying hello to Meme Ranch because they've had me on their podcast before, and you know, you should everybody should check them out as well. All 19 people that are here right now. But yeah, I'm not like a religious law scholar, you know. I'm not someone who could swing with the best of them about like certain like religious doctrine and dogma and things like that. Me personally, I had a few breakthroughs regarding why certain things from Christianity totally make sense and is the correct way to be, right? And that's why I decided that I wanted to become a Christian again, you know. I'm even attending church. I missed church on Sunday. I went yesterday. Not yesterday, 2 days ago, excuse me. They had a Monday service. So I was like, okay, I gotta get in there. I would go to midnight mass, but I gotta be honest with you, going to midnight mass by myself, even though it's like such a paltry excuse, there's just something about it that I'm like, no, I'd rather watch like from home. You know, after this, there's a good chance I'm going to not attend but watch a midnight mass over YouTube, you know, just so I can kind of take a moment, take an hour to just, you know, just like be with Christ in my own way. You know, it's not what I should be doing, not what I should be doing, but you know, it makes me feel a little bit better, I guess. It's a cope. It's a cope. Um Great to hear you once, Scott. I'll be praying for you. Thank you very much, WH. I appreciate that. Um, Itchy. My head is itching. Can rewatch the Papal Mass. Ooh, that's a good idea. Actually, that's what I should do. That's definitely what I should do. Um, Jesus was a Jew according to rabbinic matrilineal thought, but the Son of God by their original patrilineal practices at the time he was around. Yeah. Um, I choose to believe about Islam, it was like when it comes to Islam, right, specifically, I think Islam is a world domination philosophy that, or really a world domination club that was put forth by a guy who wanted in his lifetime to be able to conquer the world. He wanted to start his own empire. And since he wasn't born a king or anyone else of like real influence in that way, he decided he would start a religion so that people would follow him, and then if he couldn't create a nation of sorts, he could at the very least have a flock, a flock that would be willing to do his bidding, right? And that's why if you listen to Talmudic, excuse me, if you listen to Quranic preachers and shit like that, if you listen to the way that Islamists speak, it always sounds like warmongering. It sounds like North Korean, like, fucking religion almost, there's just like, you will submit or you will die type shit. Now, when it comes to modern day Judaism, I got to be honest with you, I like, it makes sense to me that somewhere along the line the teachings were lost, or they were more so abandoned, which is part of the Old Testament. Like, if you take a look at the Old Testament, there's a lot of knowledge in there, and that knowledge is part of that knowledge, excuse me, is that times go good because people follow God's law. And then because times are going good, they think, times are good. What do I need God's law for? Everything's going fine. And then times start going bad because they abandon God's law. It's literally the first example of good times, excuse me, strong times. Strong men make good times make weak men make hard times make strong men. It's literally like there's so many modern lessons, or not modern lessons, but there's so many lessons that we think were like smart for figuring out now secularly in the Old Testament. And one of them is that people will follow God when they're doing shitty because they're like, please, God, take me out of this shithole. And then when God's like, okay, that's fine, I'll help you out, they tend to abandon him. It would not surprise me one bit to find out that the old Judaism, the old religion of the Israelites that would have been practiced by Jesus, was somehow co-opted or morphed into something else. And that's where you see examples of, say, like Remphan, right? The star of Remphan, for instance. We could get into that. But I didn't even really want to get that deep into like talking about other religions and things like that. I was just talking about how I find it disgusting that a lot of a-religious people, or would it be irreligious people, and then a lot of people who are of different religions, they are really quick to be like, yeah, Saturnalia. They're really quick to fucking pull that shit out. I don't believe in the happy holidays shit. I believe in Merry Christmas. I believe in Happy Hanukkah, right? If you happen to be Jewish and you're a cool guy, I'll tell you Happy Hanukkah if I know Hanukkah's going on. I'm not going to say Happy Holidays though, because that is a humiliation ritual. It's a tiny humiliation ritual. And plus, when you say Merry Christmas, or I almost said Happy Holiday, Happy Hanukkah, when you say things like that, it's a little bit more personal, and I think it sticks with the person a little bit more. It says, "Hey, I'm thinking about you personally." This isn't just like a, "Yeah, have a good one. Yeah, Happy Holidays." It's Merry Christmas, man. Happy Hanukkah, man. Hope you're doing well right now. That's what it is. Um, I believe it's important for you to keep your humanity. I think it's important for you to not give in to the cynicism of the world, and that includes your side's cynicism, because believe it or not, like, even if you are correct, there is a lot of cynicism that can come from that correctness. There's a lot of, oh, like, I'm angry at this person because they're this, that can come from that, and you don't want that kind of thing. um, there's this one guy, actually, right? The reason I remember this is because I have a feeling he was probably from Patriot Front. Patriot Front, for those of you that don't know, is an activist group that started in 2017. I used to be in the activist world, and the whole Patriot Front thing is interesting to me because I noticed a certain kind of guy joins up with them, and you can practically pick them out of a crowd because of the way that they carry themselves, and it's not a good thing. It's like, wow, that guy looks like he's looking for trouble kind of thing, you know. This guy walks over and he sees my wife and I sitting at the end of this table. We were at a Greek festival at a Greek Orthodox church actually. We're at a Greek festival and we're sitting at the end of this table and there's two chairs at the end of the table that we're not using. And instead of the guy walking over and being like, "Excuse me, is anybody using any of these chairs?" He walks over, like practically storms over, both hands on the chair, and he's like looking at us like weird. He was like almost looking at us like this, like he was ready to like fight, like he was defensive in an aggressive way, you know? And he was like, "Is anyone sitting here?" And I just kind of look at him and I just kind of look at my wife and I was like puzzled for a second. We were both like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Nah, you can take it." And he just kind of like, "All right, thanks." And he like walks off. And then he sits next to us and he starts talking and talking and talking. And you know, that's what really kind of tipped me off that like it would not surprise me if this guy is like a Jay Dyer listening Patriot Front kind of guy. You know, I'm not saying those two are related. I'm just saying that like maybe this dude's like a Jay Dyer, like everything but orthodoxy is wrong kind of guy, you know. And if you know, like in addition to that, maybe he was like a Patriot Front dude, you know. Maybe he was mad that I was with a non-white woman. That's something that's a pretty big deal to them, you know. What's going on, Binkle 1474? Merry Christmas to you too, my friend. If my family gets more presents from my nephew than me, I'm gonna be pissed, dude. Me too. Me too. But Jesus was the penultimate prophet before Muhammad, the seal of the prophets in Islam. Ah, yes. Oh, excuse me. Um, Cuts to Scott singing at the front of a gospel with nothing but obese black women behind him. Hell yeah. I'd love to go to a black church and fucking jump in the choir. That'd be sick. I'm second generation Filipino. My grandfather mounted the guns on the USS New Jersey. I was raised to honor our culture while loving this country. Fuck people coming here protesting the US waving their home flag. Exactly. You know? Exactly. I even like my wife is Brazilian, you know, and she still loves Brazil. Um, you know, but like she knows like all right, like I'm American now, I don't want to go back to Brazil, you know. And even though she still takes great pride in where she came from and she wants to visit there, and I don't know, maybe one day we'll end up there at one point or another, you know. You never know where the world will take you, you never know where the wind's going to blow you, but um like she knows like not to be fucking walking around like why don't you learn to speak Portuguese? It is you are in Massachusetts. There's a lot of Brazilians around here. Like that's like you get a lot of that kind of behavior, that kind of attitude is like I don't give a fuck that we're I don't give a fuck that we're in like a Mexican part of town. You speak English to the fucking English speaker. It's not just a matter of like pride or nationalism or anything like that. It's also just fucking rude, you know. A lot of foreigners do come here and they don't have a concept of like manners as we know them in America. It's just the truth. I've had to have multiple talks with my wife because Brazilian manners are not American manners. They have manners down there, but they're not as big on etiquette down there. And because of that, there's things that like she does or she used to do. She's assimilated in that way where it's like, yo, you're gonna get me into a fight because you're gonna like get in somebody's way and you're not gonna say excuse me and they're gonna say something to you, and even though you're kind of wrong, I'm not gonna let someone say something to you like that. It's just gonna escalate, you know. They aren't big on excuse me. They aren't big on like moving out of the way of somebody that they know is like trying to get by. They'll stand in your way knowingly, taking their time, not like no hurry at all, and they don't give a fuck, you know? Like it's like shit that we would be like, what is this person's fucking problem? What an asshole. What a piece of shit. Like that is the way that is the way that we would um That's that's the way that we would like think about it, you know? And like I get it, it's an assimilation thing, but a lot of people simply don't try to assimilate in that manner. And one of the ways that they don't assimilate that way is they speak foreign languages when people who don't speak that language are involved, you know? Um, there's this Reddit or like this TV interpretation of what it looks like when somebody's pissed off at a foreigner, and it's always some redneck or some Karen who's like, go back to your country. Like, it's always some guy like that, and it's always a dude who he's just sitting at a cafe, and there's somebody who's like 20 feet that way talking with somebody else in a foreign language, nobody bothering anybody else, the foreigners just minding their own business, and he gets up and maybe he's got a fucking red hat that he puts on, and he walks over and he's like, you people, if you're gonna be in America, you speak fucking English, right? Like there's that sort of propagandistic, that propagandized um like interpretation of what it looks like when somebody's pissed off at a foreigner, but more often than not, it's that like a foreigner tries to cut you in line. And when you're like, excuse me, they try to give you some fucking attitude. Or like you're in the middle of like a conversation with somebody and they start fucking speaking a foreign language with somebody else that's with them, and it's like now you're cut out of the conversation because these two fucking people want to talk to each other. Another thing with Brazilians, I won't even say Portuguese because I don't know how the Portuguese are like that. I'm mostly familiar with Brazilians, but another thing is they don't wait their turn to speak. I'll literally be speaking to my fucking wife and I'll be in the middle of a sentence. I'll be like, the dog is laying on, I'll want to tell her like the dog is laying on the ground in our room, he's on his side and he just sighed, you know and I'll be like, the dog is laying on the ground, and out of nowhere I'll hear my sister-in-law, who knows I'm talking to my wife, and she'll be like, mana, which is like, sis, right? Mana, eh, mana, just interrupting me like a child does. It's like there's a lot of not being willing to assimilate. And when somebody gets upset about that, you're like, yo, fucking like knock it off. And then they act like it's you throwing a MAGA hat on. Like, you go back to your country, we don't want any of you people here. When most people are not even like that. They just don't want you to be fucking rude. If you're gonna come here, at least learn the way our manners work. That's all we're asking. You know, don't be fucking annoying in public. That's really gay. You know. Yes, a Brazilian rant, a Christmas Brazilian rant. I mean, the reason it's a Brazilian rant is because I have a lot of experience with Brazilians, and since I live with three of them, I'm obviously, I'm gonna have some pent up frustration. It's like I said, there's a reason why I told my wife to go hang out with their Brazilian friends tonight instead of going with her. you know it's because I don't feel like being the one gringo in the fucking room who, like, I try to have a conversation with someone and then five people chime in Portuguese and everyone laughs, and then I'm here like, what the fuck is happening? Are they laughing at me? What are they laughing at? And then somebody has to translate for me, you know? It's like, don't just learn English, speak English. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know? Oh, I ask because you don't be Indian. That's a pretty big one. That's a pretty big one. Rip Hulkster, indeed. User BR5 says, just had a bombshell dropped on me. I was jaw dropped to hear my mom is Jewish and has Jewish beliefs when I was baptized Catholic when I was born. Well, sir, ethnically, sir, ethnically, You should have had a bar mitzvah from the sound of it. You know, you've never met your mother's parents. Yeah, have you never met your mom's parents? Turned atheist into Christian, and as I speak the gospel to my parents or friends, I'm kicked out of the party. Oof. You know, sorry to hear that, user. Sorry to hear that, user BR5. That's no good. No bueno. No bueno. And indeed, rip the Hulkster, Zachary Verhead. I feel like we lost a couple this year. So let's check on Santa, shall we? Shall we? Shall we? Right now, we are in Lexington, Kentucky. When I first logged in today, right? He was actually over Maine. He was over New Hampshire, and he was going into Maine. And by the time I started this, he actually was he was going into Quebec, Canada. Let's go ahead and take a look at some videos here. But I love you, Scott, of course. Love you too, man. You know, I remember one of my earliest Christmas memories is getting autistically mad because my mom got the wrong Power Rangers toy. Ah, yes, you know. Damn, I have two canker sores on the tip of my tongue now. One of them just became noticeable. That is really annoying. I'm gonna have to gargle salt water, you know, because that's a way you can kind of help canker sores. We lost Ozzy this year, who was a devout Christian, mind you, openly stated, even in early Sabbath albums. Yeah, yeah. You know, it's a weird thing with someone like Ozzy Osbourne, or even someone like Nicki Minaj. Like Nicki Minaj apparently is like a Republican and a Christian, and she's advocating for Nigerian Christians right now, which I think is the right move. As a white dude, even if I am a Christian, I got to be honest with you, I probably won't care about Nigerian Christians like a black Christian can. If we're just being honest here, you know, like I would love to see some kind of peacekeeping mission, maybe not from the UN, but you know, the there's no reason the Pope shouldn't have a fucking standing army. There's zero reason why the Pope should not have some kind of armed force that he can deploy to protect Christians. None at all. Zero reason. But regardless, fucking um I can hope and pray for their safety. I can hope that somehow, some way, armed intervention takes place so that the Muslims cannot kill more, you know, Nigerian Christians, right? But like at the end of the day, I think Nicki Minaj is probably a good spokesperson for that. But it does suck because of the music that she created, you know? I don't think she's as bad as Cardi B was necessarily, but then again, she was pretty bad in terms of like the sexualized stuff, you know? Nicki Minaj was not the first to do it, but she was kind of like the harbinger of the explosion of female rappers whose entire catalog of songs is my pussy, this pussy, that dick, my pussy. You know, like she was not the first, but after her there was like an explosion of them, and they all just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And you know, she played her role in that, so it's like that's annoying. But I mean, I guess it's cool that fiscally she's conservative. Maybe as time goes on, she'll have a second thought about what she did when she was younger. Because I mean, let's be fair. We all did some stupid shit when we were younger. You know, we all had different beliefs compared to when we were younger. You know, maybe she'll have a change of heart and she'll realize that that was like one of the worst things that she could have done. And maybe she'll turn around and she'll be like, hey, let's you know let's fucking disavow all that. You know, the Pope does have a standing army though. It's called the UN. This is an Antichrist joke. Oh boy. Everyone sins, exactly. Everybody sins. You know, she definitely helped blow it up, but the genesis was Lil Kim. Oh yeah, for sure. You know, I believe they had a beef because Lil Kim was like, "Oh nah, you doing what I do? Nah," you know. And it's not just Ozzy who died; it is also King Cobra, JFS. So rest in peace to the men we lost this year, and the women, of course. Um, it's not quite New Year's yet, but Christmas is close enough to New Year's that you can kind of, you can start to kind of think about some shit that happened. Man, even if you care, a black Christian's voice will carry more weight in that issue. Oh yeah, completely. Like that's the thing is like, oh excuse me, like I'm not completely unfeeling to the plight of the black community in America or worldwide. It's simply that for one thing, the worst people are the ones who get the the worst people are the ones who get the spotlight, and they steer it into bad places, and it's also predicated on a lot of things that are either just bullshit or it's stuff that they need to get the fuck over, you know um things that it's less like, hey, here's how we can lift ourselves up, and more, hey, how can we tear guys who look like Scott down. So because of that, I can't be supportive on that level. um but like I could understand certain things like that, where it's like, oh, black Christians, we care about our black Christians. It's like, yeah, you probably should. Fuck. If not you, then who else, right? Shit, go get it. Fucking do something about it. You got, I'm right here cheering for you. But we're not even trying to talk about that right now. So we have NTS Indianapolis, NTS Cam, Santa Cam, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Ooh, Dublin, Rio de Janeiro, Canadian Air Force. Interesting, interesting. The satellite over Greenland. I'm looking to see if we have a Boston, but I don't think we do. Dubai, what's he doing there? South Southeast Asia, Seoul, Seoul, fucking Korea. There's a lot of Christians in Korea, actually. Funny enough, we're gonna let's look at Athens, Greece.
Rising high and majestically perched above the beautiful city of Athens, Greece, Santa flies above the Acropolis, or the upper city of Athens. Most sacred temples and monuments on the Acropolis were dedicated to Athena and other Greek gods. The ancient home of philosophy and the birthplace of Western civilization, Athens has been continuously inhabited for at least 7,000 years. Today it remains a sprawling metropolis, and its Acropolis still stands, overlooking the landscape. NORAD is keeping watch as Santa continues his journey.
There he is, guys. It's him. Hell yeah, dude. This is the reason I'm showing you guys this. I mean, a lot of people did this, when they were kids, but this is kind of like this to me was like a big piece of my childhood. And I'm sad they don't have like a Boston. They don't even seem like they have a New York City one, which is a little weird. Indianapolis is a random one to have when they don't have even New York City. It's kind of a weird one. Let's go Dublin.
Are those bells we hear? NORAD is tracking Santa over Dublin, the capital city of Ireland. In addition to its beautiful parks, open spaces, and stadiums, Dublin is home to the breathtaking Spire of Dublin, the Monument of Light. Dublin is rightly proud of its rich literary history, producing Nobel laureates William Butler Yeats, George Bernard Shaw, and Samuel Beckett, among many other phenomenal authors. Keep tracking Santa with NORAD to see where he goes next.
Speaking of Athens, Nashville has a scale replica of the Parthenon. Well worth visiting if you get the chance. That's pretty cool. I was actually talking with my family how it'd be cool to go to Tennessee and specifically Nashville, Um, Also, 10 years ago today, since we lost Lemmy, all metalheads should be throwing back a shot of Jack for our boy. Yes, Lemmy from Motorhead. Yeah, I was never a huge Motorhead fan, but like I was never upset to hear them on wherever I heard them. You know, they were a solid band. What's going on, Chemical? How you doing, man? Hey, buddy. Merry Christmas to you. God bless you. You ginger bastard. God bless you too, my friend. God bless all of you. You know. Let's go ahead and take a look at Rio. We call it Rio de Janeiro, but it's Rio de Janeiro is how they pronounce it.
NORAD's Operations Center has just verified that Santa is in South America and is in the process of delivering presents throughout Brazil, the continent's largest country. Santa has just flown over Rio de Janeiro, one of Brazil's most vibrant cities and the home of the second largest Portuguese population in the world. NORAD is keeping its satellites fixed on the heat signature of Rudolph's bright red nose as Santa continues his journey throughout South America.
There he is, guys. Zooming. That boy's zooming. Oh man. Anyway, hey, thank you so much, Juan Guzman. Thank you so much for the $20, man. I didn't read that right away because you know we were tracking Santa Claus. They call him Papai Noel in Brazil, which is like ridiculous. But you know, they also they don't say Merry Christmas, they say Feliz Natal. Merry Christmas, Sensei Scott. Here's to more Sensei Brazilian rants from Chicago. Why is the intro to these videos like a drone strike POV? That's the presence. That's the presence hitting the chimneys is what it is. Thank you so much for the $20, Juan Guzman, and Merry Christmas, man. I wonder if they have Chicago here. I don't know if more of these become available as time goes on. But I think they definitely skipped over New York City and Boston for these videos because it goes Washington, D.C., and then Toronto, Canada, which that's where he went after, I believe. No. He went to Quebec. He went to Quebec, Canada. But right now he's in fucking Cancun, Mexico. Nice. Anyway, videos. I want to see the Greenland, the Canadian Air Force, and then I want to see the DC one. No gifts for Boston this year. Yeah, we don't deserve
NORAD has confirmation from the Missile Defense Agency that Santa is traveling north over Greenland. The Space Tracking and Surveillance System, or STSS, consists of 2 satellites orbiting the Earth using infrared sensors as part of the Ballistic Missile Defense System. But don't worry, the Missile Defense Agency knows Santa is delivering gifts and doesn't classify him as a threat. Thanks to the STSS, NORAD is able to keep Santa in our sights, especially since Rudolph's bright red nose is easily detectable with our infrared sensors.
Let's go Canadian Air Force.
NORAD is receiving reports that Santa's sleigh is moving north toward Canadian airspace from the mid-Atlantic. CF-18 Hornets from the Royal Canadian Air Force are escorting Santa through Canadian airspace. As part of Operation Noble Eagle, NORAD's mission to safeguard North American skies,
just in case someone tries to shoot them down, they're like, "Don't worry, Santa, we'll give you an escort." Ready to respond
immediately to potential threats to the homelands. Santa and his reindeer certainly pose no threat, but he can rest easy knowing that the NORAD team has the watch, ensuring safe travels across North America.
Rest easy, Santa. We have the watch, and we'll see you at the North Pole. Yes.
NORAD Santa cams have just spotted Santa flying over the National Mall in Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. The National Mall receives about 24 million visitors each year, but there's no time tonight for Santa to visit the fantastic Smithsonian museums or the beautiful national memorials and monuments. Santa's sleigh just zoomed past the United States Capitol and the President's home, the White House. D.C. children should be snuggled in their beds so Santa can make his stops and deliver their gifts.
AI could have made better videos. These are like over a decade old. I mean, like well over a decade old. Like Oh, this is from 4 years ago, but the thing is, these are from like the tracksanta.com ones, right? This like like actually I think this is a new website. I think this is a newer website. But I can remember there being the Track Santa website. I clicked on NORAD Santa because the thing is, it's NORAD were the ones who did this, you know. But yeah, these are like I can remember being in like the fourth grade looking at these, you know. These are mad old, mad old bowling animation type shit. Pretty much actually, you know. Man, let's see where he's at now. Oh, he's in Honduras. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more presents given out in, say, like El Salvador, you know, since their dude is I believe his name's like Bukali or something like that, since he locked up all the MS-13 members, you know. Good for him. Good for him, you know. Over, over the Gaza Strip. Oh boy. Show me IDF track Santa. I'm curious what would happen if I typed that in. Um I have a ball that I'm using to massage fucking different muscles and things like that to try and get them to loosen up, you know. Um, IDF tracks Santa. Ah, man, nothing. Nothing. That would have been funny. IDF tracks Santa. That'd be so great, you know? Man. I hope you guys are having a good Christmas. You know, the holidays, like, I remember the first time I learned that the holidays can actually be tough for people. You know, when you're a kid, unless you have like the worst childhood, the holidays are kind of like a magical time for you a lot of the time. You know, I had a really shitty childhood. I'll talk to you guys all about how, like, you know, like I was all fucked up and stuff like that. But luckily for me, there was just enough like warm, comfortable moments in my childhood that like I can at least look back with a little bit of fondness, right? But there's kids out there who unfortunately they don't like there's practically nothing they can look back at, you know. Or whatever fondness they have is like it's like a little bit weird, you know. Like you look forward to like getting a puzzle from your dad who's in jail and he bought it for you and stuff like that, like that type of shit, you know. But anyway, kind of diverging from the point here, um like what I'm trying to say is, like, you know, if the holidays are a rough time of year for you, you know, I'm sorry, that sucks. And I hope you can find some kind of peace, some kind of happiness, even if it's just momentary, you know. Like the first holiday after a family member dies, especially if the family member died close to that holiday, can that can be a little bit tough, you know. I go to a you know, we have a bit of a new we have like a new um what do we have? We have a new tradition in my family. We go to my grandfather's favorite breakfast place every Christmas, you know. If they're open on Christmas, we go. If they're not open on Christmas, we go either the day before or the day after. Um, you know, and that's to like honor my grandfather a little bit, you know, or just to kind of be somewhere that my mom can kind of feel a little bit close to him again, even though he's been gone for about 4 years at this point. It feels like he's been gone a lot longer than that, which is, you know, kind of it's really weird. It's really strange. But you know, and my grandfather, for instance, he used to bring my grandmother's car. He kept my grandmother's car roadworthy for well over a decade after she passed away, because she used to take it for like special occasions. He used to drive it instead of driving his car, so that it would feel like she's kind of here with us in a certain sense, you know. Just don't get too deep into the bottle. Don't get too deep into thinking about like how things could be or how you wanted them to be or how you missed this person or that person. You know, just try to think about good things and good times that you had with that person. You know, find a way to channel that. You know, I it feels. Hold on one sec. I want to check something real quick. Oh yeah, fuck that. Fuck cookies. Fuck the cookies bullshit. Um. Oh, okay. I guess we're good there. You know. Huh. Huh. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, New Karoo 87 for the gifted memberships. Thank you so much for that, man. Guess some of you guys get it's yes, 5 gifted memberships. Some of you guys are getting gifted memberships. I don't know what kind. But yeah, thank you so much to New Karoo 87. I appreciate that very much. Um Dad stole the Christmas gifts he gave and ended up in jail type beat. Yeah, like that type of stuff, you know. Let's watch Santa Inc. The best way to celebrate Seth Rogen's failed career for shitting on Christmas. Yeah, that'd be nice if I could get away with watching Santa Inc. I guess there's I guess Sausage Party, right? Let me check something. Let me check something. Yes. About 10 years ago, little bit under 10 years ago, I guess. Somebody leaked the entirety of Sausage Party the movie on YouTube. And not just one person, but apparently it's two people. Apparently it's two people, I guess. And nobody did anything about it. This that to me implies that in a sense, this is almost abandonware. The Seth Rogen movie Sausage Party. Uh, I'm pretty sure this was a Seth Rogen movie. I'm almost 100% sure it was, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that one. But like, it's a Seth Rogen esque movie. That's for sure. Um, just fucking one of those like, hey man, everything sucks. Haha, dude, religion, that sucks. It's so illogical. Haha, dude, I smoke weed. Like one of those types of movies. It's just so like it's just that bad. I remember watching it like 7, 8 years ago, just thinking, wow, this is terrible. Why am I watching this? I think it's funny that Seth Rogen just like strikes out at anything that's not like a Judd Apatow movie. You know, really shows you where the talent is there. And even then, a lot of those movies don't age very well. And I don't mean like, oh, there was a racist joke and that's not allowed in today's world. No, I mean like genuinely, you just watch them and you're like, why did I think this was funny? You know, watching watching a lot of these Judd Apatow fucking like Seth Rogen starring or like Jonah Hill or whatever movies, a lot of them just didn't age well at all. They aged like milk, in the way that like you'll watch something when you're a kid and you'll be like, this is the best thing ever, and then you grow up and you finally learn what quality entertainment is and you're like, wow, this sucks when you go to watch it back. That's how I felt about Cat Dog, I gotta be honest with you. And I hate that because I really did enjoy the fuck out of Cat Dog. But whenever I watch Cat Dog, I'm just like, this is not as good as I hoped it would be. This is not as good as I wanted it to be. Aggressive leftists are the new squares. Exactly. They're just fucking lame losers. They're just fucking lame losers. And they're lame not just because they fucking suck and they're sticks in the mud, but also it's so clear that they never knew what they were talking about and they never had any real leg to stand on with anything they said ever. And even if they were right, they found a way to be wrong about it. You know? Like uh, one of my favorite things about the whole being against forever wars in the Middle East is listening to Occupy Democrat tier assholes who were like, "Hey man, we went in there just because we wanted to get the fucking oil, dude. That's what it was. The oil companies were the ones who wanted to invade. Oh yeah, that's why there's still oil in the Middle East. That's why we didn't take any of it from them. That's why we left their oil alone. Yeah, yeah. It was for oil. You're right. Yeah, yeah. That's what it was for. It totally wasn't every other fucking thing that they yell at you for if you talk about it. You know, it's fucking stupid. Um, I did not watch Cat Dog, but I had a friend who hated Chalk Zone this much, so I understand. I didn't hate Chalk Zone when I watched an episode on Halloween. I watched like a Halloween special Chalk Zone episode. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, but yeah, it was not that good. I will say that. It was not that good. Cat Dog was the worst show ever. I know there was another one that I watched that I was just like, when I watched it back, I was like, yo, this is not that good, you know? And I forget which one it is. I forget which one it was, you know? Um, my brother mentions this movie all the time, but I've never seen it. I would assume you mean Sausage Party. Yeah, it's all a big allegory for religion, and the moral at the end of the story is just nihilism. It's just, aha, nothing matters. We all die. Haha, let's all fuck. Literally, that's what happens. It's like, we're all gonna die, so let's all fuck. And it's like, yo, that is the most 2008 I'm edgy kind of fucking statement. Like, and it doesn't matter, we're all gonna die anyway, and when we die, nothing happens. We might as well fuck each other. I'm a virgin, please have sex with me, please. You know, they're people with no what the fuck, social circles and culture. They glom onto a popular opinion and mold themselves to find acceptance. Fuck acceptance, exactly. You know, exactly. Every Seth Rogen movie, anti-Christian nihilism, exactly. You know, he can't understand any of that about the film, so he probably just enjoys the talking food or whatever shit it's about. Yeah, like there's a lot of like dumb, like stoner jokes, sex joke type things. Like if you can turn your brain off and like not like excuse me, if you can turn your brain off while simultaneously like not in like not ingesting any of the propaganda that's good for you, that's a really good talent to have, because that means you can literally just enjoy things. You can do the Reddit thing and just enjoy things, and you can just let people enjoy things. It's a really really good skill to have. I don't have that skill, but I can at least keep my fucking mouth shut for the most part. Although when I'm with the wife, I got to be honest with you, it's hard for me to not be like, you see what that was? You see what that was? That was because they're trying to get you to believe this is true. Like, I have a hard time not doing that when I'm just chilling with my wife. But when it's not just me and my wife, I can at least enjoy the movie, you know? But I'm still like, oh, that was fucking cringe. That was stupid. That was annoying. You know. But yeah, like you would enjoy Sausage Party if you had the ability to do that. You know, maybe you'd enjoy it. Especially if you were high, you would enjoy it. You know, weed became so much more cringe when it got legalized. It used to be cool, really, really. You know, it makes you wonder about everything, you know, because like here's the thing, right? Fucking your dare officer was 100% correct about everything. He was just lame, so nobody wanted to listen to him. Same thing with your teachers, especially your teacher. You know, nobody wants to listen to a fucking lameo, and that's just the reality of the world. It doesn't matter how right or wrong you are. If you're lame, people are gonna be like, get away from me," you know. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, you know. Um, but they are 100% correct. So it really makes you wonder, like, huh, maybe weed should have stayed illegal. And not because it's like, dude, when it's illegal, it's cool. And that means it's cool to do it. No, but like when it's legal, genuinely bad stuff happens to America on a societal level. You know? The Soviets banned all that shit, and they used their intelligence agencies to disseminate beliefs and ideas that Americans picked up, and as a result they were like, hey man, we gotta legalize weed, man. Hey, they want to take away our they want to take away our medicine so they can feed us, they want to make us sick and then take away our natural medicine and then give us their own cures, man. They want to make us sick and sell us the cure, man. Like, that's like, that was not like a natural thing that happened. That was like, that literally the hippies, especially the hippies, but there were a lot of different like movements that had overlap with the hippies, or maybe they were completely different, but they wanted kind of the same thing as the hippies. They just had a different philosophy on it and a different way they wanted to go about it. Um, like, so many of these like countercultural groups had Soviet implanted ideologies, and not ideologies that were explicitly like, hey, fucking the Soviets legalized weed, so it's cool. No, the Soviets didn't legalize any of that shit. What they were trying to do was they were trying to destabilize the US using these groups of people as useful idiots. They would lie to them and say, hey, I was gonna try and do Russian hippie. They, you need to smoke the weed because it will help you, comrade. It will help you to see that the capitalist pigs are not your friends. That's not really a good Russian accent, but you get the idea, right? Like, they were tricking useful idiots into trying to further the downfall of the United States, so that when there was a Soviet style government that came to form, they could then kill all of those useful idiots. They would just purge them after, and then they would be like, hey, you know that LSD shit, you know that weed shit, you know that DMT shit, illegal. Keep it, get it out of here. Get it the fuck out of here. You know, that's no coincidence. You know, it's no coincidence. Did the pin get removed, or is it my YouTube app bugging from the membership alert? I don't know what you mean. Oh, the pin. I would assume you mean the Nah, I still see the pinned comment. I still see the pinned thing. You know. Can't wait to hear Scott's take on Pluribus, a Karen survives an invasion of body snatchers scenario, written by creator of Breaking Bad. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about, Juan Guzman. I don't, I don't know what you mean by that. I'm confused. What is that what it's called? Is Pluribus? Is that what it's called? Um, I was high watching Back to the Future Part 3 in the kind of scary high right before, right after, excuse me, smoke, watching the Western party scene, thinking I see why alcohol was the drug of choice as society. Yeah, like, alcohol is not like good. You shouldn't partake in copious amounts of alcohol. It's better for you to avoid it altogether. But like, if you had to choose between weed and alcohol, alcohol is definitely the better choice, especially in the modern day where we have like fucking bioengineered weed. We have like factory made weed that's like 90% THC, like crazy levels of THC. You're excuse me, jeez. You're basically tripping dicks on acid when you smoke it. Especially with these fucking carts that kids are using nowadays. A lot of dudes don't even bother with flour anymore. Um yeah, it's fucking bonkers, and alcohol is a much more functional drug if you had to pick a drug. Not only that, but you can moderate it a little bit better. Like I was saying today, like if you smoke weed, you're blasted. You're fucking toasted. That just is what it is. There's a good chance you're not going to be able to do anything for a little while. By the way, Merry Christmas, everybody. It is 12:02 a.m. on the day that our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, was born. He walked the earth so that we could walk in heaven with him. I said that in the uh, Twitter group that I'm in with other Christians a little bit earlier today. Figured I'd say to you as well, you know. Happy birthday, Jesus. But shoot, what was I talking? Oh yeah, like you can moderate how much you drink. You can have like a beer or two and then stop, and you'll be buzzed. You'll be a little bit buzzed, but you're not gonna be blasted. When you smoke weed, you're blasted. You're blasted until you're not. It's going to be at least 4 hours where you cannot think straight, you cannot act right. You go to order from McDonald's and you're nervous. They're going to know you're high, and you're like, dude, shh, don't fucking laugh, dude. Weed is legal in your state, and you're still like, dude, they're going to know. They're going to fucking know, man. Come on, dude, come on, man. What the fuck, dude? Like, you can't take 2 puffs from a blunt or 1 rip of a bong and not be some kind of fucked up. With alcohol, you can be like, I want to be drunk, but I don't want to be blasted. I'm gonna have like 3, maybe 4 beers. I'll drink them in slightly quick succession, but nothing that's gonna like murder me for like a couple hours. Just nice and easy, nice and relaxed, nice and cool, nice and chill. We chilling, Um, man, but it's just like, man. Oh, there we go. I need to crack that. I'm watching that happen now. Watching that happen even in my scene now, a scene historically notorious for toxic male violence. As a huge sci-fi fan, Pluribus sucks. Ooh, I'll have to make sure to not watch it then. Imagine thinking the Mickey D's worker cares about you being high. LOL. Yeah, and the only reason they would care about you being high is because you're like being annoying in the line. Like you're walking up and you're doing a Patrick. You're like, I'll have you're doing that, you know? That's the only time anyone gives a shit if you're high. Other than that, it's like you walk into a place and you're smelling like fucking like a bong. You're smelling like a roach, and there's like kids around. Like that's those are the only 2 times people are really gonna care that you're high. And then maybe like number 3 behind the wheel, but even then, like, um it's not really illegal to be high anymore. So the in public paranoia isn't the same as it was 20 years ago. It was never even really illegal to be high. It was just illegal to possess weed. And the consumption of weed is also possession, but once the weed has been consumed, what are they going to get you on? There's no weed, Even if you admit, yes, I smoked weed and I am high right now, there's no there's really not any probable cause. I'm sure a cop would use that to be like, oh yeah, I need to search you, but like I don't know how that's gonna hold up, Like I don't think that would really like hold up very well, I don't know. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. I personally wouldn't want to test that myself, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think there was ever a law prohibiting being high. I think the law was prohibiting possession with either an intent to use yourself or distribute for whatever reason. And then like everything else is just like, whatever, because I mean, at the end of the day, like what's gonna happen? Like, where does that end? Like, oh, I got high yesterday. I smoked weed yesterday, officer, and what? They're gonna try their best to they're gonna search you now? Like, forget about it, Forget about it. But yeah. What's going on, ZD Son 3112? Merry Christmas to you too, my friend. Juan Guzman talking to New Carew 87. That's especially why I need Scott's take on Pluribus. This Karen is unbearable, but hearing a rant from Scott would be fitting. I'll search Pluribus Karen, right? I am a little bit curious. Season 9. I see Pluribus explained. Why is Carol like that? I can think of a couple of reasons. She's probably a stupid bitch. But anyway, the virgin nervous weed guy versus the Chad drunk driver. Yeah. It's funny. I have a cousin who became a cop about a year and a half ago. Um, it's funny to see him become a cop, and what I don't just mean like he's a cop now. I mean like slowly he is like he's giving lectures now. Like not to us specifically, but like today he said something just in general where he has to work tonight. In fact, he's working as of 8 minutes ago. He should have clocked in for his shift, but he's drinking non-alcoholic beer. It's like 5:30, maybe 6 p.m. If not maybe a little later, but nothing crazy. It's non-alcoholic, and he cut himself off after that one. Um, and we're talking about like drinking. I didn't even know it was alcoholic, non-alcoholic. I was like, I, I'm already fucking the story up. I'm just gonna get to the point, right? He ends up saying like, yeah, and there's no reason for anybody to drunk drive today. You can get an Uber at literally any time. I don't know why someone would do it. And it's like that's not the kind of conversation a regular person has. That's not the conversation that's not the conversation like I don't want when I say normal, I mean like somebody who's not a cop. That's not the kind of conversation someone who's not a cop has. That's only something that a fucking cop would do and say is to be like, and there's no excuse to drunk drive. You can call an Uber at any point. It's like, yeah, we know. We know, man. Um Sorry, I missed the response, but I'll say this: Pluribus has Philip K. Dick rolling in his grave. Yeah, I mean, I can't be watching 9 seasons of or hold on. Oh, not season 9, episode 9, episode 9. Okay, all right, okay, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I can watch a little bit of maybe I can watch a little bit of Pluribus, just to give you the just to give you the skinny my beliefs on her. I've been um I've been watching Tulsa King, and I don't hate it. It's not the worst thing I've ever watched. It's a lot better than Reacher, but um it's funny to see Sylvester Stallone try to play a mobster, but also not play the mobster. Sylvester Stallone is doing what he always does, which is playing the like street smart, not book smart, but definitely no moron. You better not take him for a dummy. Uh Fucking like nice guy who he wants everybody around him to do well, and he's willing to support you, and he's always got a word of encouragement, and it's always exactly what you need to hear. It's funny seeing Sylvester Stallone play good guy Sylvester Stallone character, but it's supposed to be a mobster now, and he's supposed to be doing bad things. It's like, no, that's fucking weird. And it's very clear that it's just like Sylvester Stallone wanted to do a memoir, but instead of just doing a memoir, he decided he would make a TV show where every episode or two he gets to talk to somebody and be like, and you know what? It's good to be young. You should really enjoy being young because you're not going to be young forever. My name my name's Dwight Manfredi. My name's Dwight Balboa. You should you should you should always brush your teeth. You should always brush your teeth before going to bed. Like that fucking that Sylvester Stallone like eat your vegetables, drink your milk, take your vitamins, kids type fucking character, but he's supposed to be like a mafia boss. It's just funny. It's funny seeing that, and it's kind of ridiculous. It's not ridiculous in an unenjoyable way. I'm having a good time watching it, but it is ridiculous, that's for sure. Um, but yeah, maybe I can watch a little bit of Pluribus after, because we are getting closer to season 3 if we're not on season 3, and there's only 3 seasons so far. Sylvester tries his own take on Tony Soprano. Exactly. Like, I feel like that's probably how he pitched it, if he even had to pitch it. He goes into Amazon or wherever it was that he had to pitch, and he's like, so, you've heard of Soprano. So, you've heard of the Sopranos. What about if Tony Soprano was a good guy? I feel like I could do a better Stallone if I just worked on it, you know? What if Tony Soprano? Fuck, you know. I'll work on it later. I'll get back to you guys. Sylvester Soprano is what he should call his name. Dwight Rambo. Yeah. Plastic surgery, face ruins it. You talking about Sylvester? Did Stallone have plastic surgery? I will say he still does the thing. He still does it. That's because he had a stroke when he was young. And like one side of his face, I guess, is like paralyzed, which is pretty crazy, you know? That's why he does the face, you know? Man. Tulsa King season 1 was fun. Season 2 was so rough I couldn't make it. Rough how, New Karu? Do you mean like it was rough like you couldn't watch some of the things that went down? Or do you mean it was rough where it's like, oh, this show sucks now, you know? Not a bad Stallone impression baseline. Yeah, it's not the worst. Could be worse, but could be better. Could be better, you know? Probably plastic surgery, definitely steroids, exactly, you know? Like it's Sylvester Stallone trying to do the old 1980s action star who like you know, he knows everything. He's the wise, he's the sage, and all the young people need his help. And you know, he knows how to do everything. He's in his 70s. I think Stallone's in his like late 70s, you know. And he's like purposefully putting in he's purposefully throwing in scenes where someone comes over and they try and tell him how to work out, and he's just like, oh yeah, is that how it's done? And then he shows them up on purpose. There is kind of a boomer slop thing going on with it. Excuse me, I'm gonna grab a soda real quick. One moment. Yeah, I'm watching Tulsa King right now, and I'm playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And I have to say, like, KOTOR is not everything that I thought it would be, but it's still not that bad. I think I like, as of right now, I'm only on the second world. I've only made it to Dantooine. But as of right now, I feel the excitement to play it rising. I feel like I want to play it more, but it's still not quite what Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was for me. Like, Vampire the Masquerade was like a really good, I almost said show, game. Underrated. Yeah, it had some issues, but I think it should have did a lot better when it released, you know? It's unfortunate that it didn't. When it comes to KOTOR, it's considered to be a legendary game, one of the best Star Wars games to exist. But the thing is, it's kind of weird in that like I'm big on combat. The combat has to be at least partly satisfying, and the combat is not that satisfying right now. It just kind of sucks. It's not that fun. It's not that fun at all. But yeah, you know, you know, you know, I'll keep playing it. I want to get some mods for it because like I love different colored lightsabers, meaning like there's three main lightsaber colors that you see in the Star Wars universe, and that's of course blue, green, and red. And those are cool, but I like the Mace Windu purple. I like the yellow. I like the orange, you know? I love all the crazy colors from the Star Wars universe. And it makes me so mad that Disney retconned the way that lightsabers work because of course they had to go with this bullshit like spiritual mood ring shit with the kyber crystals, you know, the crystals that you use to make a lightsaber. It used to be you would get a blue crystal for a blue lightsaber. You would get a green crystal for a green lightsaber. The red crystals, and I actually believe no, actually no. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case anymore. I thought that maybe they didn't retcon this piece of the lightsaber lore, but I think they did actually. I think they did as a means to be like, oh, it's a sign if your lightsaber comes out red that you're too well versed in the dark side or whatever. But the red lightsabers used to be synthetic kyber crystals. That's where the red color came from. The red color for the lightsabers did not come naturally. It came from some kind of fake crystal that the Sith used specifically as a means to set themselves apart from the Jedi, but then they also believed that there were like some tactical or like build advantages to having the synthetic crystals, you know? And that's why the Sith always used the red. It wasn't just that like we use red because we're evil. Ha 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 ha. There were actually in story or in there was in universe reasons for it that made sense beyond some stupid like again some stupid mood ring bullshit, you know. um I played Halo 2 for the first time in like 15 years and it still hits. I feel the nostalgic game love. I never played Halo 2. I only played Halo 3. I had a PS1, then a PS2 as a child. I never had an Xbox, but then eventually I got an Xbox 360. So Halo 2 was, years and years old by the time the 360 came out. No, actually, it wasn't that old. I think Halo 2 was what, in like 2004 or something like that. But like, it was for the original Xbox. I'm sure you could play it on the 360 as well, but it's just like by the time I got a 360, I had already kind of like passed over Halo 2. And then when Halo 3 came out, I had a friend who was really into the Halo series who I never owned Halo, but like he obviously bought it because he's into it. And we just for a summer, he would bring his copy of Halo over to my house. And like whoever was over, it was like one of the first summers that I got to just be home alone, me and my brother. And whoever was around, we would just play Halo. It would be like me, my brother, my friend, and then like that day we might have someone like from down the street who came, or like the kid from through the woods, or the kid from the neighborhood that's on the other side of this, or whatever, right? Whoever was around, we'd play with them, and it was just a great fucking time, you know. Halo 3 was really, really good. That's for sure. And I miss the golden era of gaming that was from like 1998 to like 2011 or 12. Or nah, it was even longer than that. I think it would be like 2014, 2015 is when like when Gamergate really blew up. As cringe as it is to talk about Gamergate, right? Like as cringe as it is to talk about Gamergate, there's just like it was a singularity, and a lot of things started to suck real quick after that. The world just got worse real fucking quick after Gamergate. And the first piece of that, since it was directly about Gamergate, it was the video game world. So yeah, like that was like the peak was like Halo 3, um fucking Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. Like I know I'm talking about games that came out in different years and stuff like that, but it's just like man, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty World at War. Um oh man. Nostalgia's a bitch because it's fun to look back and think about all the good times, but like it also is sad because you're never going to get those times back, and it hurts even more when you're in a time that just kind of fucking sucks. Like things really just suck right now, and they've sucked for a long time. And the thing is, I feel like maybe it's slowly starting to get better, but I don't think it'll ever be as good as it was. You know, the internet is too cucked. Um, the game industry is still too cucked, and it's not just about them being like blue hair feminist social justice warriors. Yeah, there's too many of them in the gaming industry. Even if you kicked all of them out, there's still going to be too much microtransactions. Games are going to be 200 to 300 gigabytes or more. You're gonna have games that are a terabyte, that are a fucking terabyte. You know, it's insane. You're still gonna have those really shitty practices that are strategically bad. They are strategically bad. Like for instance, I made a joke about the 1 terabyte, but like most of these Call of Duty games, most of these mainline like Battlefield, AAA like major release type games, they're over 100 gigabytes, not because they need to be, but because the devs want there to be so much space taken up on your disk by this game that you have to delete other things. And if you're in the middle of playing a game, chances are the first thing you're going to delete if you need space for it is going to be any other games that you're playing. So obviously, if you're downloading something off of Steam, it's not like it's you couldn't re-download the game or anything like that, but at the very least, you can force somebody into focusing on your game with those little fucking tactics by making your game so big that it's the only thing that can fit on somebody's hard drive reasonably, or SSD or whatever, you know what I mean, their storage. And it's there's always gonna there's we've crossed the Rubicon, and the feminists won, but they didn't have enough of a foothold, and because of that, you probably will start to see over the next 5 to 10 years the fucking frumpy millennial feminists getting kicked out, and maybe more people who actually give a fuck about gaming for gaming's sake will enter into the field. But even with that, you're still gonna have scummy fucking marketing guys or whoever it is that makes these fucking rules and dreams up these awful things, whoever it is that does that stuff. You're still gonna have them like, oh dude, we're gonna have a gun that you can only get via microtransaction, and it's gonna fucking break the game, you know. It's like, fuck, man. Games are reaching $99 that still need fixes for updates. Exactly. Exactly. Um, it's disgusting. And what we need is a video game crash. It sucks to say, but we need a video game crash. There was a video game crash in the 1980s, and one of the things that led to that crash was a game that was so bad that literally people were just like, I think I'm done with video games. And it was the E.T. video game. They did an E.T. video game for, I don't know if it was like this, like uh Atari or whatever. It was one of those 8-bit type games, and it was so bad that people were like, "You know what? I think I'm going to go outside and play." They were like, this video game shit kind of sucks. And it wasn't just the ET game. It's not like the ET game was that generationally bad, right? It kind of was, but it wasn't like that bad as to where it was just that in and of itself. What it was is that there was so much garbage that was released that they just got sick of it, and they just stopped playing video games. And that crash will probably look a little bit different today compared to back then. Instead of people going outside to play, instead of people picking up chess or knitting or whatever, instead of people staying away from video games, I think what'll happen is there's going to be a lot more torrenting. There's going to be a lot more pirating, whatever word you want to use for it. Torrenting, pirating, whatever. And there's going to be a lot more playing old games. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, I know there's some games out there that people are pretty crazy about. Like the guys that I would usually play AoE with, a lot of them are playing Arc Raiders right now. And me, like, it's not that I wouldn't play Arc Raiders, it's just that I don't, like I'm playing KOTOR. I'm playing KOTOR, you know? But like you're gonna I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but I think it needs to happen. You're gonna see people who like while this crash occurs, if it ever did occur, maybe a good game comes out here and there and people go to that game, they flock to that game, and maybe if we're lucky, the industry learns something from that. And they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe we should, not be fucking idiots, you know?" Atari 2600, I own that game. It was terrible. I'm sure it was, New Karoo. I'm sure it was, you know. Man. The industry has nothing to lose by being shitty, so you need to give them something to lose, and you need to like put them on the verge of losing it. um there needs to be consequences to your actions. And that's something that I'm learning, is that like because and not to trauma dump on you guys at all, right? But this is like a good example. Like if you tell me to meet you somewhere and you're late, that's cool. I understand. If you don't call me to say, "Hey, I'm going to be late," I'm going to wait 10, maybe 15 minutes. And if you're not there, I'm going to leave. There's going to be a consequence to you being late and not being courteous enough to let me know, "Hey, I'm going to be late." Right? That's an easy one for me. I've always had an easy time doing that one. But there's other things where it's like, I have a hard time enacting consequences on people, and because of that, I like I fuck myself over in some like small way. There needs to be consequences enacted on the gaming industry for the bullshittery that they've put us all through for not decades, but the more than a decade at this point. It's about to be 2026. For more than a decade, we have had shitty games released, and any games that are like halfway decent, they're forgotten about very soon after. You know, you have people who still to this day do not shut up about Final Fantasy VII. You have people who to this day do not shut up about Fallout New Vegas. I'm one of them. I'm one of them. Even the original Fallouts, right? Red Dead Redemption 2, that is one of the big games over the last 10 years that was released, and everyone was mad hype about it. Who talks about it anymore? Nobody talks about it like it's a generational hit, something that, like, for the next 15 to 20 years, people are going to be comparing everything that comes after it to that, and that's going to be the benchmark. That's going to be the gold standard. If you can't stand up to this, then your game is trash. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, Arc Raiders, what's it called? I almost said Fall Guys, but like not Fall Guys. Helldivers, right? Um, there's so many games that get released that even if they're considered to be good, it's like they're not that good. Apparently, they're not that good. Their name isn't going down in history, at least. You know, 90% of the gaming industry is just gambling and dark pattern scams. Basically, zero culturally significant games except for the indie games. I have no idea who buys AAA shit. Exactly, that's something that I really liked about Fallout. That's something I liked about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and I even enjoy that about KOTOR. Like I did a mission, I did a quest today in KOTOR, where it was a murder mystery quest. Essentially, there was a guy, he got shot and killed by a blaster. There were two guys who were under suspicion, and you had to figure out which one of them did it. In the end, they were both guilty because one of them was intending to kill the guy. The other guy actually did kill the guy. It was like a great coincidence that ended funny like that. But um man, those fucking canker sores are really annoying. But like there's a creativity in that. there's a creativity in that you do not have in today's in today's gaming, you know? Even something that is as legendary as Skyrim. Skyrim was a legendary game, but if you have experience with other RPG games, other role-playing games, um, role-playing games, if you have experience with other role-playing games, and specifically other role-playing games in the, I almost said Fallout, in the Elder Scrolls series, you realize just how dumbed down and kind of stupid it is. You know, it's a great game. I really enjoyed the hell out of it. But compared to other Elder Scrolls games, it's not even an RPG. It's basically just an action adventure game, and it's a decent action adventure game, you know? But like, anyway, but even by action adventure game standards, it's like, yeah, maybe they could have did better if they really just steered into the action adventure, you know? But then it wouldn't have been an Elder Scrolls game. That would add a name at something else, you know? Would have been a new IP from Bethesda. But whatever, that's beside the point. Like even Skyrim is like it teeters. It teeters. Skyrim was like such a great game, but it also was like sort of a harbinger of things to come, and not in a good way. And then of course it got re-released 40 times. You know, it's still being re-released. I think it's been like what, like 6, 7, maybe 8 years since they announced that Elder Scrolls 6 is in production, and we still don't know fucking anything about it. They like, it's like, ah, yeesh. But anyway, I agree on the E33 gameplay. It's not perfect, but the game is better than most of the slop we get lately. I don't exactly know what you mean by that, Practical Thump. What's E33 and BG3? Oh, Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, so yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. Maybe I should give Baldur's Gate a try. Maybe that's what I need. You know, I need to do some Baldur's Gate. I don't know what E33 is though. If somebody tells me what it is, I'm willing to bet I'm gonna be like, oh, I've heard about that. I am curious though. By the way, Merry Christmas, Practical Thumb. Expedition 33. Yeah, I've never heard of Expedition 33 then. Excuse me. Man. It just sucks because, like, on the technical side, making video games is tough. But when it comes to making a good video game, it's not hard at all. Everybody knows what makes a good video game. Everybody knows what feels good, what makes a cool story, what makes cool gameplay mechanics, what makes cool lore, you know, etc., etc. Everybody knows what that is. And for some reason, these guys are just like, nah, let's not do any of that. You know, you have the creator of, not creator, but the writer for Fallout 4. When I heard this, I wanted to jump through the computer screen and start strangling the guy. He said that he kept the writing for Fallout 4 very simple because, in his experience, you can write as detailed and as good as you want to write. You can make the most beautiful story, the most beautiful storyline, the coolest stuff. And a player is just going to tear it all apart and turn it on its head. So in his mind, that meant that he doesn't need to try because the player is going to make the story. But the thing is, there is no Elder Scrolls or Fallout game that is not at least partially railroaded. even Fallout 1, you are always going to have a showdown with the Master. How that goes is completely up to you. But you're always going to have to come face to face with the Master. That's just what it is. That's the way it goes. Fallout 2, same thing. You're always going to have to talk to Frank Horrigan. Fallout 3, you're always going to find your dad and he's always going to die in that fucking thing. We love those stories. We love those storylines. We love those characters. And we were railroaded into them. And nobody complains about the railroad. And nobody slices and dices the fucking storyline to make it so that you don't have to go see Frank Horrigan. So that you don't have to go confront Dagoth Ur. Nobody does that. When you're playing Morrowind and you kill the wrong NPC and you get that message at the bottom that says, with this character's death, the thread of the prophecy has been severed. Reload a saved game or persist in this doomed world you've created. I'm pretty sure that's it word for word. We'll have to check that out. We'll have to check that one out. Like, whenever somebody gets that message, the first thing they do is go, oh, I guess I better load a save. Nobody persists in the doomed world they've created. It's with this character's death, the thread of the prophecy is severed. Restore a saved game to restore the weave of fate. I almost got it. I almost got it. Or persist in the doomed world you have created. Like I said, though, when that happens, nobody goes, no, well, I guess it's fine. Nobody does that. Everybody reloads the save, because at the end of the day, what are you doing? You're playing at that point, you're playing GTA without the ability to win the game. You're just gonna run around and fuck with everybody or whatever, and it's pointless. The writing matters the most. Nobody cares about really cool graphics and ray tracing and procedurally generated and AI and all that shit. Nobody cares about that. But because it's talentless hacks who can't write to save their lives, and I'm saying this is a guy who the only thing I've ever written for is Blood Games 2, and even then, I wasn't doing the heavy lifting. That was Jet, Soda Man, and Xavier who were doing the heavy lifting. I was just like tossing ideas out there. Although I did help to develop out one of the factions that were going to be utilized. I'm not gonna go too deep into that. I did like develop that out. Like, I gave them a name that they could utilize. I tried my best to kind of like give them a structure, and a modus operandi, or just a method, or whatever. Maybe one day I'll show you some of my notes. I do believe I have them stored, but I'm not going to I don't know what's going on with Blood Games 2. And we got a lot of the story done. So I don't want to spoil that for anybody, especially if I was to be if Blood Games 2 happened and I came back for that, like I'd be spoiling for myself too. But if there was ever a situation where it became appropriate for me to do so, I'd show you some of my notes for Blood Games. Luckily that leak that occurred only had like spitball ideas that I didn't put a ton of thought into. I just threw random fucking ideas into the whatever it's called, the Discord channel. But like any ideas that I really, really thought of, or that I shared with them and they gave me feedback and I was tinkering with, I have those stored away somewhere. But anyway, the only thing I've ever written for was that, right? I'm not saying I could be the best writer, but like I know what makes a good story versus what makes a bad story in terms of things like that. Like we all feel it intrinsically, even if we couldn't necessarily I almost said appropriate, approximate, or repeat, or if we couldn't think of our own, even if we couldn't think of our own, it's still like, yo, like, like we get it, we know, even if we don't, we do. One sec, I want to check in on my wife. I want to call my wife a bitch real quick. I did it. Called her a bitch. Yes. Anyway, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 were so freakishly good. Yeah. Tim Kaine. Well, the thing is, like, the more you look at it, the more you realize how much of a team effort Fallout 1 was. Fallout 2 as well. And then also Vampire the Masquerade. Like, these were all team efforts. Like, Tim Kaine gets the lion's share of the credit for creating Fallout because it was his idea in the most general sense. But there were a lot of things that were put into the game by, say, Leonard Boyarsky. And there was one more guy in particular who was considered to be like kind of the godfather of Fallout. Like these guys, excuse me, like it is really really good, and it's like, it's a team effort, because if you listen to Tim Kaine tell stories, they're a little bit different from what like Leonard Boyarsky will tell. Like, if you ask Tim Kaine, he'll tell you, yeah, we were aware of Wasteland, but we weren't copying Wasteland. We weren't trying to like be a spiritual successor to Wasteland like some people thought. And yeah, Mad Max is cool, but we didn't want to be like Mad Max the video game or anything. That's not what we were trying to do at all. And then you listen to Leonard Boyarsky and he's like, oh yeah, no, I love the Wasteland games and I wanted to put as much Mad Max stuff in there. Like, it really was a collaborative effort between a bunch of different guys, and Tim Kaine was just the lead on the project. Oh, my dog's being an asshole. I think he wants something. I don't know what he wants, but he's whining. So I'll be right back. I'll be right there. Don't you worry. Snoopy? Hey, what do you want? What do you want? Huh? What do you want? What, you want to go in your... You want to go in there? Huh? Just fucking hanging out? Alright. Don't fucking whine. So there's this Irish dude at my gym, and he bought me these as like a Christmas gift. I guess these are like the thing people do on Christmas in Ireland. In Italy, the big Italian thing is panettone. That's like one of the big Italian things, I guess this is like the big Irish thing, is these assorted chocolates, and they are mad fucking good, I've got to say. I gotta find these things. I gotta find a way to get these in America. I gotta ask the dude, yo, how do I get them? He probably has a family member send them, because he's fresh off the boat, He's from Ireland. He's from the old Emerald Isle. What's going on, Holy Clown? People are still competing for a high score in Donkey Kong, so have to agree, great games don't need great graphics. Exactly, you know? I mean, Minecraft is what, the most successful game of all time. Look at the graphics, and those graphics weren't just because, like, you know, it was like a gimmick, you know. It wasn't like, oh hey, we're purposefully doing retro graphics because this is a retro inspired game. No, it was because Notch was one guy who had to make a game in his fucking bedroom, and he made something that was like massively successful, or whatever his name was. Was it Notch? I'm pretty sure it was Notch, but I could be wrong. You know, regardless, like, I know Minecraft was pretty much a one-man project, you know? Like, I bet if he had a team, he would have made the graphics better if he could, you know? But he didn't. And I think that was also partially because he couldn't. Oh. Thank you very much, New Karu 87 for the $5. Peace and love to you and yours. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, my friend. Thank you again. Thank you again for the $5. Thank you so much, man. You know, I appreciate everybody who watches me, and I appreciate the you know, the donos, obviously. Yeah. So I'm just, you know, I want to check in on Santa real quick. We are in North Dakota. Notch / Jeb / Dinnerbone. Man. So it was a collaborative effort, but, you know, not by dudes that had AAA budgets. I want to see if they have any more videos. I'm curious. There's a Chicago NTS 2020 International Space Station. Let's check the ISS.
Thanks to the magic of Santa's sleigh, he is making a special stop during his trip this year to the International Space Station. NORAD satellites have spotted Santa on a true path straight to the ISS and the astronauts who are living and working on board. Construction on the ISS began in 1998 and has been continuously occupied by astronauts since the year 2000. Orbiting at almost 250 miles above the surface of the Earth, astronauts on board conduct scientific experiments designed to enhance future on-orbit missions. You can continue tracking Santa at our website at www.noradsanta.org as he continues his journey around the world.
It's pretty crazy that apparently they're only 250 miles above the Earth. Like if I tried to drive from Boston to, say, Washington, D.C., I wouldn't even be able to get there if I stopped at 250 miles. I'd probably be in, like, Pennsylvania, maybe Delaware, you know, maybe even New Jersey, depending on, like, you know, where I ended up. Excuse me. I think DC is like 300 to 400 miles away from Boston. I could be wrong about that, but that seems kind of close, is what I'm saying. You know, if you drove in a car, it would only take you about like 5 or 6 hours to get to the International Space Station if you could just drive straight up. Let's see, Chicago. Let's see if King Vaughn gets any gifts this year.
NORAD has just spotted Santa arriving in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago is Santa's kind of town. Each year, Santa makes a swing by the second tallest skyscraper in the United States, the Willis Tower, which people can stand at 110 stories and overlook the iconic skyline of Chicago. Chicago is known for many things, but one of the things Santa likes best when he's there is to get a big slice of deep dish Chicago-style pizza. That will keep him going as he delivers toys throughout the Windy City.
Santa likes to stop by O Block to lick some shots on Tukaville. I have a Turkish Sam site in my backyard waiting for Santa to fly over. Uh-oh, no gifts for the rest of time. All right. I want to look, like, I got nothing to do tonight. I'm not saying I want to be here for like hours and hours. I do kind of want to just enjoy having the house to myself because I don't always get that. And also, like, I've been trying to do cybersecurity stuff. Um, here's the thing about cybersecurity with me, right? I fucked up. So I guess if you're gonna do CompTIA, right, they have something called the CompTIA trifecta. You want to start with CompTIA A plus, then you move on to Network plus, then you move on to Security plus. I skipped A plus and Network plus, and I went straight to fucking Security plus. The thing is, though, like, it's all very entry level, and because of that, I'm not fucking it up completely. Like, whenever I do any kind of practice test, I do very well on it. Um, it's not like I have to sit there forever, like, trying to figure it out. It's like I just know the answer right away, and I don't know, maybe the practice test stuff that I do, it's not very in depth at all. Maybe it's just like that easy on purpose, you know. Maybe it's meant to be a confidence building exercise. But the only thing I really get stumped on is networking for cybersecurity, which I can figure, like, you know, I'll get that eventually. That's how Network Plus would have helped me, you know. Um, but like, I'm, if not halfway, I'm a little under halfway done with the cybersecurity course that I'm doing. I'm hoping I'll be done with that over the next. Um, but I have been slacking so far this week. Instead of getting like 5 to 10 videos done per day, I've gotten like 5 done, maybe a little bit more over the last like 2 or 3 days, and it's just because I've been getting ready for the holiday, you know. I don't know that I'm gonna I don't know that today I'm gonna be like, let's do cybersecurity stuff, but I think tomorrow I'm gonna do cyber stuff. In the meantime, at the very least, maybe I can watch some stuff or I can play some video games. What I was trying to say though is that we're gonna play a couple of games of AOE, and then I'll probably hop out of here after that, you know. Um, Scott, what comes to your mind when thinking of the best Christmas gift you ever got? Ooh, I think the only Christmas gift that I have kept this entire time, maybe it's not the best in terms of, like, you know, what I was the most excited about and stuff like that, but the only Christmas gift that I kept was my grandmother's last gift to me. My grandmother, she died in early December of 2007. So she had already bought my Christmas gift for that year. Me, like, you know, look, I'm the one with the autism. I get to pick the special interest. And I liked duct tape. Not like I just like duct tape, but, like, you know, I like to make stuff with duct tape. I like to do stuff with duct tape. Duct tape is like arts and crafts for fucking, you know, autistic men. You know, instead of playing with glitter, we make shit out of duct tape. And you know, like, up until my grandfather died in 2021, I used duct tape wallets. The only reason I stopped was because my mom, in fact, I'm gonna see if I can find it too. It might be hanging up in my closet, but yes. Oh, damn it. This right here, it's very beat up now, as you can see, but this was the wallet that my grandfather had with him when he went into the hospital with COVID before he died. So this was the wallet my grandfather had when he died, you know. My mom gave it to me after, after he passed away, and I used it for years and years. Only this year did I switch to this wallet, you know. But before then, I used duct tape wallets. And the reason I used duct tape wallets was twofold. One, it reminded me of my grandmother, but then two, it was nice because you could customize your wallet. Like I used to make wallets with coin purses and stuff like that. I'd have a compartment with Velcro, and I'd throw coins in it, and I'd close it, and I'd be able to walk around with coins in my wallet and they wouldn't all fall out and shit like that. I liked stuff like that. I'm gonna see if I can find the shirt. Figure I might as well show you a classic too. I still got this bad, Larry. But then also this. This was the last Christmas gift that my Grammy got me. It wasn't just this, it was also a book full of different crafts you can make out of duct tape. But because I knew that that was the last gift my Grammy got me, that's one of the few, if not the only Christmas gifts from when I was a kid that I really was like, I need to hold on to this. I need to keep this thing. You know, I can't let this go in the trash or to Goodwill or anything like that. Like, I got to make sure I keep that thing, you know? I have like a shirt collection, if you couldn't tell, of shirts and like, other articles of clothing that are kind of special to me. I'm a bit of a pack rat, just a little bit, not like crazy, but I like to collect things that are special to me, whether it's like historical currency for one thing. Excuse me. Whether it's historical currency like I've showed you guys in the past, or if it's like the Yeah No shirt. Like there's tons of these all around. Somebody a little while ago, we're in the piss zone again. Holy shit. Somebody a while ago came into my work. They weren't in their uniform. They were wearing this. There's tons and tons of these around. But this one is special because it's the fucking Blood Games 2 Cage Yeah No shirt. Like it matters, There's no way I'm going to get rid of that thing. I wouldn't even sell it, What was I going to say? But yeah, like that's the most important. That is the most important gift that I have ever received, I would say. As for the gift that I was the most excited for, that's a tough one because I got a PS1 for Christmas. I got a PS2 for Christmas a few years later. Those were pretty big. I feel like the Xbox 360 though, because I got a 360 for Christmas. I think that was the one I was the most excited for a couple of reasons. For one thing, my mom was a narcissist, and part of that narcissism was that she didn't like seeing us have too much fun. She would find an excuse to try and make it okay. But the bottom line was, if we were having a little too much fun, she would try and fucking ruin it. She would put a damper on it, Now, my brother, being the favorite, when they asked us what video game console we wanted, my brother was like, I want a Wii, because my brother's no dummy. My brother's not dumb, but he was always given to trends, and he was always a member of the crowd. So really what it was is that he didn't want a Wii. It's that multiple of his friends at school had Wiis, and they were like, wow, this is fun. So my brother was like, I need to be part of the in crowd. So I want a Wii. They got us a Wii. We used it for a month or two, and then as soon as it lost all its, like, fun, we just stopped fucking using it. Now my dad advocated for us to have like a console that we wanted, right? And that's when we got a 360, I think like 2 or so years later, the reason I'm telling you this is not just to be like, fuck you, mom. That's not what it is. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that this was completely and totally out of left field, completely and totally out of character for them. I never thought that would happen. I did not think we would get a 360, Of course, my mom, like I said, she had to dampen the fun by being like, okay, so now that you have that PlayStation, so now that you have that, what's it called? PlayStation 540. Now that you have that, you're going to have to put the Wii in the basement, and you're not going to be allowed to use it unless you decide you want to put the Nintendo 720 in the basement. You can only have one at a time. Like, of course, she had to do that, right? But at the very least, we had a game console that was, like, good. And it wasn't just a fucking gimmick. And the fact that we had that console, like I said, that set us up for some of the formative memories that we would have with friends playing video games at our house during the summer. Or another great memory that I have is when we used to get storms up here. Like snowstorm storms, like the type of shits where you would have to stay up all night because you would have to progressively keep shoveling your driveway type shit. That way you don't wake up in the morning after the storm and the snow is like stacked this high in your driveway, Like, we used to get those kinds of storms. The last time we got that type of storm, I would say is probably like between 2015 and maybe 2018. Ever since especially 2015, we've gotten kind of lucky where, like, we might get some snow, but we don't get like snow banks up to our fucking titties, Sitting there in the snowstorm, eating microwaved food, which is like awful, right? But like, bagel bites are fun. It's fun to eat bagel bites. Fuck it, drinking soda and just playing Modern Warfare 2 online. So a coziness, a comfiness that no matter how I try to emulate it, no matter what I try to do, when I jump off this in probably 30 to 45 minutes, maybe another hour, when I jump off this and I'm thinking, ooh, I got the house to myself tonight, what am I going to do? I'm going to try my best to emulate a fourth of the comfiness. I'll be happy if I hit a 1/5 of the comfiness, of the coziness, of the peace, the serenity of playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer at night. It's the snow's coming down, or maybe it was Modern Warfare 3 or whatever it was, but you get the point, right? Like, that 360 really was like, that was a blessing, that made a lot of good memories. And this is why it's not just video games and, oh, well, what do you care? Blah, blah, blah. Like, that's why it's not just video games. It is the memories that are made with this medium as a way to have fun. It is the escape. It is beautiful. It's brilliant. And some fucking blue-haired bitch or some fucking greedy corpo asshole killing that off, they deserve the wall. You know, capital punishment, of course. I'm not saying to do anything like that. I'm saying they deserve to be arrested, tried, convicted, and put up against the wall by the government, is what I'm saying, is what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. You know, facilitate. Yes, facilitate is a great word. You know, that 360 and those games on the 360, it facilitated so many beautiful, beautiful memories. You know, things that I will never be able to get back. And nothing will come close. And it's not just because, well, I'm not 17 or 18 years old and, you know, high school on a snow day anymore. Not just because of that, but simply because games are not made the same way anymore. You know? Man. Geez, I thought you would be in bed by now. Haha, no sir. I'm staying up a little bit longer. We're about to play some gay OE. Oh, excuse me. Where's the Steam? I'm looking for the Steam. Steam-a-leam. Steam-a-leam. Steam-a-leam-a-lean. We never finished Glover. I'm on the last level of Glover. I need to make it a point to do that. I'm not doing it today. I'm not feeling that today. But I need to make it a point to do Glover. And then another one that I need to do is Postal 2. I believe I was on Thursday of Postal 2. You know, now that I have a PC, I've been doing it, you know, since I got this PC, I've been trying to play games that I either missed out on or games that I missed from my childhood. And I missed out on the Postal series, and I missed Glover. I never beat Glover when I was a kid. I want to beat Glover, you know. Morrowind, I missed out on that. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, never even heard of it until a year or two ago, you know. AoE, I played this not extensively, but you know, I played it with over 1,000 hours, as you can see. You know, I played it. Oh, duh. We're supposed to be playing this specifically. I played it with my cousin. You know, played it with my cousin. My cousin owned a copy of it, and I borrowed it from him. Actually, it was shortly after my grandmother died. He let me borrow this you know, this game, and I played it, you know, and it was fun. Gonna play with Hank Hill, yeah. He's gonna be like, God dang it, Scotty. God dang it, Scotty. God dang it, Scotty. You gotta early rush. You gotta early rush, son. I remember. There's this guy. He pretends to be Hank Hill. He calls himself Hank Trill. He's a rapper. He actually does not make terrible music. That's the best part about him. I keep that thing on me. God damn it, Bobby. They see me selling propane and now they trying to copy. Not a bottle of champagne for tomorrow. No one had caviar in the neighborhood though. Yes. I didn't do any early rush city. Fucking forget about it. But, you know, I ain't gonna back out. I'll just fucking, actually, where are the Huns? Where's the Huns at? If I play with the Huns, I'm in good shape on a level like this. Yes. You see, the Huns are cool because I don't need I don't need houses, so I can just go straight into, like, other things, you know? If I was gonna use houses, I'd use them as, like, no, I can't even build houses, actually. Yeah, like, you see, I don't have a... Oh, no, you can't see that. You see, I don't have an option to build houses. I was gonna say something, I forget what. If you use charcoal, I'ma kick your ass. Ah, man, yeah, I forget what I was gonna say, you know? Oh, yeah, I didn't want to drink alone. I have alcohol laying around, but I definitely don't want to drink alone like that, you know? I think that's probably not the best. That's probably not the best choice. So, you know, I ain't gonna drink. I got this mead in New Hampshire. It was maple mead, so it was supposed to be like maple honey flavored wine. It was not that good, I gotta be honest with you. It was not as good as I was hoping it would be, and I didn't expect it to even be that good in the first place, but it was cool, you know? I went to Lincoln, New Hampshire, which that's the worst fucking place to pick that. Anyway, yeah, I went to Lincoln, New Hampshire. You know, which is like it's a nice area. I like it anyway, you know. If I made a wallop, if I made like several $1,000,000 and I just had enough money to buy a house cash, I'd be like, yeah, let's go up to a place like that, you know. I'd say, hey, let's buy 2 houses, one in Lincoln, New Hampshire. We can spend the summers up there, and then we'll buy one somewhere down south, and we can spend the winters down there, you know. Let's snowbird it. I don't have enough fucking wood. That is one thing, is I'm used to having a lot more wood than I do. Yes, here we go. Then, yes, here we go. You know, like, I'm not saying I don't like adventure. I like adventure. I've just had enough of it in my lifetime. And what I mean is, like, seeking it out, you know, like I've been in enough fights, both in MMA and in the street, you know. I've been you know, I've had enough time where I've been like under the gun, you know. I've had enough of, like, you know, having to really scrape and grind. You know, like I need to figure out how I can, like, you know, I need to figure out how I can live a much easier life than I've lived thus far. One where I have money that I can spend that is, like, you know, reliable in that way. Where I can have a job that I can tolerate so that I have energy to do other things after work. And not just that, but also but also so that I can I complain about my gym a lot, how it's not a good place and all this other shit, and that's true, but like, I keep going back because, for one thing, if not me, then who? Like the owner of my gym isn't about to fucking, like, do what he should be fucking doing, you know. He's not gonna do his shit. God, over there. You know what? Gotta go there. Sorry, I'm kind of kind of, you know, doing a little bit of everything right now. That's the reason I stay, is because, like, if I don't do it, then, like, a lot of people are going to be screwed. I know he's not going to do it, so instead of having me, the black belt, teach, he'll go to the blue belt, which, for those of you that don't know, a blue belt is only one belt above a white belt, and a blue belt should not be teaching. You know, like, blue belts should not be teaching, purple belts should not be teaching, brown belts sometimes, but they still should not be teaching full-time. That includes me. I should not have been teaching full-time as a brown belt, and there were times where that was happening, you know, and that's not good, right? The closest belt to me, that bastard, the closest belt to me is a blue belt. Get your dumb ass. Get your dumb ass. Yeah, this guy's probably gonna early rush. I'm not even interested in stopping it. I just want to see what I can do. You know, I'm playing with a civ that I typically don't even play with. So it's like, whatever, who cares? It's just annoying to get early rushed. This guy definitely favorites lowlands because it's an open map that he can try an early rush with all of his might with, you know? I'm willing to bet. If not, then since he's Persians, he's probably gonna, instead, he's probably about to be like, damn it. Go. If not, then he's probably gonna try his best to quick imp. He's gonna try and get to Imperial as quick as he can, which, you know, I mean, I guess good luck. But yeah, that's why I don't just leave my gym, is because I need the money, and then also, like, if not me, then who? You know? That's quite literally, like, the question I have in my head, like, blue belts are not supposed to be coaching classes, they're supposed to be taking classes. And blue belts should, if they are going to coach anything, they should not be leading what is meant to be the main class for that gym. That is not the way things are meant to go. You know what, fuck it. Oh, damn it. He's gonna, damn it, he's gonna get one. Son of a bitch. Ah, well, what you gonna do? Ah, he got fucking two of them. Son of a bitch, dude. Whatever. What you gonna do? Merry Christmas, asshole. Luckily, it's just people that I would have, you see the difference in scores? He's like, oh, there's no wall, so I'm gonna go after him. That's what's going on right now. You know? He's gonna rush me, probably with more cav. You know? And in fact, in that case, what I'll do, I'll get ready for that. Whoa. Take it easy. Take it easy. I got first degree black belt and quit. Oh, at least you got your black belt. Shit. You know, good for you. Good for you. Job 43 gold. What the fuck? Get your asses over there, you fucking idiots. What are you doing? Alright, so the good news is I'm on my way up to Castle. That's the good news. The bad news is he is way ahead of me score-wise, which, you know, that score, again, indicates to me that his plan is to try his best to rush me in some way, shape, or form. I screwed up my back lifting some Christmas stuff up 3 flights of stairs. At least now I don't have to go to the family gatherings tomorrow, so it equals out. LOL. Sorry to hear that, Joe Butt Slasher. Sucks about your back, that's for sure. I forgot to go +2 on the feudal age. Just rob people. Just use AI. Those are both good ideas. I'm gonna use both of those ideas. I'm gonna rob people using AI. I don't even know how to play with the Huns. I only picked them because I wouldn't have to waste wood on houses. That's the only reason I played with them. It's too late for a rush if he attacks. It's just a normal attack. Yeah. I was one of the guys who called in when Fish Tank Season 4 was imploding, by the way. You called into a stream that I did. I do feel like I remember doing a call-in stream around the time Fish Tank Season 4 was kind of shit in the bed. It's obviously been a little while since then, so I do kind of up. You see? Unupgraded. Wow, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. We're actually not even gonna. We're gonna make off pretty good in this attack. We're making off pretty decent in this attack right now. We are not doing bad. Wow. All right. Sick. I'll take it. I'll fucking take it. Unupgraded. He sends unupgraded horses. That is what he did. He killed. He sent like 5 scout cav at me, and he killed 1. He killed a single Vil. That's bonkers. You know, thank you everybody who popped in today, though. You know, like Job 43 Gold. You said you called in during Fish Tank Season 4. You know, I don't know if you've popped in since then. I just want to say thank you for popping in today of all days. What was I gonna say? Oh, duh. You know what else I need? Do you know what else I need? I need one of these bad Larrys. One of these bad Mammer Jammers is what I need. I'd rather go here, I suppose. I want to see if that's actually even a good idea. Let's go here too, just in case. I'm gonna go to here. Hopefully it'll work out. But yeah, thank you anybody and everybody who popped in today, who has popped in today so far. We're not done yet, so I won't say popped in. You know, I've been kind of not doom posting. I won't say it's doom posting, but I have been kind of like, I won't lie, I've been a little disheartened. I have been a little disheartened. I'd be lying if I said I was not, but I have been a little bit disheartened regarding my channel and how I've been doing with it. Who's attacking me? Which one of these idiots is attacking me? Okay. So the Huns have pretty good, these Tarkans are good with their, you know, oh, duh, that's what I need. That's what I'm forgetting is Vils. I'm a dummy for that one, that's for sure. I just denied him a TC. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. His light cav. This guy doesn't even know what the fuck he's doing. This guy has no clue what he's doing right now. Oh, I ain't worried about that. Back over here, you dummy. Sorry, I am kind of trying to lock in a little bit here. That's why I'm like. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. Ah, man. Eh. Yeah, not exactly. Oh, this bastard. Yes, here. I don't feel like continuing with this game because it's just kind of a shit show, you know. But I was trying to say something, and also that game was turning into a shit show that I think I would have lost, you know. So it's like fucking whatever, just fucking have it, dude. But yeah, like you know, like I've been a little bit frustrated, a little bit doomy about the whole YouTube thing, you know, but I don't want to look back in anger at what could have been. I want to look back in happiness for what was. I had a really good time, and I've had a really good time, and I'm still having a good time with the whole YouTube thing, even if my channel is not doing as well as it used to. I know that my channel was never doing amazing in the first place, but it was doing a lot better than it is now. That is for sure. You know, even like a year ago, it was doing a lot better than it is now. But like I said, I don't want to look back in anger and think about like, oh, well, I could have did this, or that could have happened, or this didn't work out, and blah, 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 whatever. Fuck it, who cares? I'm just happy that I got to meet the people that I did. I'm happy that I got to do the things that I did, and I'm happy that I started this channel. And I'm happy that you guys, you know, I'm happy that you guys got to you know, I'm happy that you guys, you know, I'm happy that you guys got to, you know, well, I'm happy that you guys got to. I'm happy that you guys spent your time here. I don't know why I said got to, like, you know, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm grateful that you guys spent some of your time here every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and you know, for a while it was Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. The Trump admin has been a gig of black pill, but today is a day of mirth and jolliness. You got to give him a little bit more time too. Like, I'm not big on Trump myself. He's just a guy. That is what it is. But like, you gotta. It hasn't even been a year yet. If we're being honest here, you gotta give him some time. Give it till like halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way through 2026, maybe 2027. And if things are still shitty, if it's still hard to do like a lot of things that used to be easy, if gas is still crazy priced, if milk and eggs and all this other stuff is still crazy priced, then yeah, maybe the guy fucking sucks. Then yeah, fuck him. He sucks. Whatever, you know. But like, it hasn't even been a year. Let's be at least a little bit charitable towards the guy. You know. You got to understand that, like, even in situations where he is, even in situations where he's, even in situations where he's doing something good, people are trying to sabotage it, you know? Like protectionism is a good thing, whether people want to believe it or not. You know, tariffs are a good thing. It's about time we start getting our fair share in trades and other things like that. If our goods get tariffed by other countries, and because of that, you know, the few goods that we do export are not used as often as like domestic things in whatever country we're sending them to, then yeah, there's no reason we should accept that. We shouldn't accept that. We should tariff them to until either A, they accept an end to our tariffs, or B, until they're willing to lower the prices of imports to our nation in the first place, you know? Give us more for less. Like, I don't, like, yeah, that's gonna hurt because when you try to push, and when I say this, I don't even mean that we're being bullies to them, like we're the bad guys, but like, maybe push around isn't the word to use, but like, when you stand up to somebody who's been being a shithead to you, they're gonna try their best to stop you from doing that. They're gonna try their best to scare you into backing down in whatever way they can. And because of that, like, of course, the tariffs are gonna suck for a minute. But I do think that the tariffs long term will benefit us, because eventually people meaning other nations, they're gonna want to work with us, because us tariffing their imports is a lot worse for them than them tariffing our imports, you know? It is what it is, right? Like, and I'm not some kind of fucking expert or anything like that. I'm not trying to be Mr. you know, economics guy, Mr. political economics world stage guy. That's not me. It's just, personally, I'm tired. Like even I had to explain this to my wife, right? Because, like, again, like, a lot of people are so used to America being something that can be pushed around that, like, it just doesn't compute that we might actually want to look out for our own interests. I talked to my wife about it, and she's like, yeah, they're tariffing imports from Brazil, so it's gonna be harder to get, like, Brazilian stuff here, which is annoying. I don't know why Trump would want to do that. And it's like, well, because Brazil tariffs our imports to your nation. Like, Brazil does things that hurts American trading power. So when are you guys going to stop doing that to us? And it just doesn't compute to her, because in her mind, she's so used to an America that will just let, like she's so used to an America that will just let people from her nation walk all over us, you know? And plus, she's also upset because, you know, she wants picanha. She wants certain Brazilian brands that remind her of home. That's also another piece of it, you know? But, like, it literally, like, it almost doesn't compute with her sometimes, specifically because, like, she's not used to America being like, no, fuck you. You know, we need that no fuck you kind of attitude towards the world a lot more, because it's that attitude that's gonna make it easier for us to have just an easier time, you know? We don't owe them anything, and at the end of the day, they want to be in our club. So don't try and fucking bully us, you shitheads, you know? Anyway, peace out, Joe Buttslasher. Merry Christmas, man. Hope you hope Santa's good to you this year. Oh. Peace out, Zach. I just noticed you said goodbye too. Yeah, I'm gonna play this game, and then I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna skedaddle is what we're gonna do. Oh, whoops. I didn't even want to do that. I'm gonna, you know, nah, fuck it. I'm doing it all out of order now. Whoopsies. Whoops. Whoopsie daisies. I think that's gonna be alright, though. I think we'll be fine. You know what? In that case, actually, I think it's better for me to just see what I can accomplish there. I think it's better for me to just steer right into this than it is to like do one of these and then try and get those. You know, I think it's probably the better choice. You know, that's 140. That should bring me up to 500 by the time they're done. Yes. That's exactly what I thought. Ah, son of a bitch. He's already to feudal age. At the very least, we can send these guys around. Oh man, he's Mongols too. That's not exactly good for me. He's definitely fast castling, and he's probably got it down really good. It's not really the economic stuff with me. It's the Israel dick riding and Epstein stuff that he has bungled. I mean, did we expect anything less from Zion Don? I mean, really, you know? Like, for me, yeah, sure, like, you know, there's a lot of things out there that do matter to me. But at the end of the day, the hierarchy of needs matters to me most. And that means that, like, if you can make my life easier in terms of what's on the shelf, then yeah, if I'm being honest with you, in many cases, not all, but in many cases, I don't really care about much else. You know? At the end of the day, that's what we all care about the most. That's why people start asking questions. They start wondering, hey, like, why is everything so bad? And they start looking into a reason, and they realize all these interconnected things. You know, like, one thing leads to another, and all this other shit. Like, I'm not saying it's unimportant. It is important. Don't get me wrong, right? What I'm trying to say, though, is that, like, me personally, what matters to me more than things I know I'm not going to get are things that I can get. And if I could have gotten cheaper everything and better home prices and higher wages, or just more chances to move up in the world, then honestly, yeah. Like, that's fine by me. Shit. You know? I knew that was gonna go the way it did on that issue. You know? On those issues, I knew that it was gonna be that way. I don't even have a damn. Oh, Bob Saget. What you gonna do? Whoa, actually, wait a second, no. I'm gonna go there, and then these fucking idiots can go there. Anyway, I knew that those issues were gonna go the way they did for the most part. And even if I was a little bit wrong about some aspects of it, I knew that we weren't gonna get exactly what we wanted. So I wasn't gonna let that be something that I became so focused on that, like, I was unable to take any good stuff that may exist. You know? This is not going to be good. This is actually going to be really bad. I'm probably going to lose this one too, but I guess we'll see. You know, that's one thing. You see, that's one thing that actually pissed me off quite a bit about the Trump thing, was that, you know, he said that there were no skilled American workers to do jobs. And it's like, well, first off, you're wrong. There's plenty of skilled American workers in every field that you could think of. But even if there weren't, all you got to do is train them up. That's all you got to do. Just train them. Hey, interesting. Anyway, train them on how to do the job. You know? Merry Christmas, Humphrey Bumblecuck 5151. Thank you for popping in. Anyway, fuck, what was I gonna say? It's gonna take me a second, so. Yeah, that was, like, even if you didn't have the talent, at the very least, you can always train people. It's that simple. Just fucking train them up, you know? But instead of doing that, his answer was like, "Oh, no, we don't have the talent. No, we don't have the talent. We just don't." I can't do a Trump for some reason. I've just never been that good at it. I don't know. I mean, it might not be a bad idea for me to try and castle rush to the best of my ability. I guess we'll see. I guess we're gonna see here. Oh. Ah, son of a bitch. He's getting... Oh, fuck. He's getting him. No bueno. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna castle drop. I'm gonna put a forward castle that I can hopefully utilize as a springboard to hit him hard as I can with whatever I can create in the moment. You know, that was a betrayal of the American worker. Like, you know, easy, hands down. Damn it. Ah, well. Oh, wait. That might not be a bad idea. May not be a bad idea. I think I got him. Are you fucking kidding me? Forget about it. Anyway. Forget about it. Yeah, this is not particularly good for me. What you gonna do though? We can't train him, you see. It's definitely not because Jeets are cheaper and the Republican Party has been taken over by Indians and non-identity Americans. You know, Nick's brash with how he says things, but he's right. Oh yeah, you know, he's correct. You know, he's definitely correct about that. Whoa, wait. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's totally correct about that, you know? It's very transparent what that is, you know, talking about we don't have the talent. Americans are just not talented enough. You know, it's obvious. Everybody knows what he means by that. Everybody knows what that is meant to entail. We're not dumb. You know, despite what Trump may and that's the thing. Trump doesn't even think we're stupid. It's that he knows that there's no way he can get what he wants and what his business buddies want out of that situation without trying to imply that we're stupid and we're undereducated and all that other shit, you know? That's all that is, you know? He doesn't even really mean to be like Americans are stupid. That's not it, you know? Hello, Civ Scott. Merry Christmas. What's going on, Super Ouija 9001? This roller coaster tycoon at 23. Nah, this is Sims 17. This is Sims City 17,000. All right, I'm gonna try my best to rush. Trying my best here. I might be okay, assuming I can get as much as I need down there, you know. His score is not that much higher than mine, which implies he has either A, an alright city, or B, maybe he's got a little bit of military, but I don't think it'll, even if he has a little bit of military, I don't think it's going to be anything that is like, you know, that crazy. You know, like having that's cute. That's fucking cute. That's real cute. Ha ha ha. Ho ho ho. Ha ha ha. Ho ho ho. Ha ha ha. I might have this. I might have it. Yeah, I figured he either had a small military or he had multiple TCs with quite a few I almost said civs with quite a few vills, with quite a few villagers, you know. The differences in scores, I only had 30 vills and I was going to keep trying to put more, but I wanted to try and rush to put them on the back foot a little bit before I started really trying to boom like that. For some reason my scout was chilling around here, no clue why. But yeah, I mean it worked out. Shit. Um, no, my problem with Nick are some of the people he associates with and the fact that he is pushing for a racially plural society, since he knows pushing for a European America is a dead end with modern America. Well, I mean, yeah, yeah. Like, as somebody who's married to a brown woman, I gotta be honest with you, like, the idea of a racially pure white America does not 100% appeal to me. And yeah, it's because my wife is brown. Like, what else do you want me to say? I'm not even gonna make it into like a, well, actually, Ben Shapiro says, like, I don't like, there's nothing wrong with me sticking up for myself and my family, and my kids are probably gonna be brown, you know. um it doesn't matter that much to me. I love my wife. That to me matters more than anything. And because of that, yeah, like, I'm not the most ideologically pure white warrior fighting for white America. If you ask me, I'll say, yeah, like, I don't want to see the white race die out. I don't want to see white people become a minority in their own nations, and that includes America, right? It is what it is, but also don't fucking like don't make it into a weird thing where like I'm like you and I'm saying things that benefit you, but I'm not allowed in the club because I love my wife. Because I didn't just marry my wife explicitly because she was white, you know, which is what happens with a lot of these people is they have ideology first. So they find a white woman who, like, she spends time on 4chan and she's either an edge hoe or she's like a trad hoe. And they marry her, and like, the marriage fucking fails after 5 to 10 years, closer to 5, because it's built on a poster. It's built on a propaganda meme, a fucking vaporwave meme. And in the year 2025, a vaporwave meme convinced a white dude to marry a white woman just because they're both white and not because they love each other and they want to build a life together. you know, um, it's like, I love my wife. Life is not meant to be clean as fuck. Life is full of jagged, unfinished, rough edges. It is messy. It is meant to be. If you live too clean a life, you have not lived a life. You have survived. You have uh, you've been a walking corpse your entire life if you've lived a life that is not full of contradiction and even hypocrisy, and again, just uh, weird situations where the puzzle pieces don't quite fit together, but you find a way to fucking jam them together. You have not lived unless you have done that, you know. So when it comes down to it, if someone like Nick Fuentes is like advocating for that, it's like, well, okay, I don't see an issue with that. I could understand why somebody else who's not like me, who doesn't have a brown wife, might feel differently, you know? But I'm just talking about why I feel the way that I do, you know? Um, and I don't think that you should be throwing the baby out with the bathwater in that way, because I've met plenty of people who have been really good about like the whole great replacement thing, that were both Jewish and or like non-white, You know, like you can argue about whether Jews are white, whatever. That's not a conversation I personally feel like I need to have, you know. But like you can, you know, you like I could point to a lot of people out there who are like not nearly as bad as you might expect, you know. When it comes to Nick Fuentes, yeah, some of the people he hangs out with. Yeah, I remember the Catboy Cammy days, you know. Fucking Sensei Scott talking about Catboy Cammy. I'm sure that's gonna go well on the fucking 4chan. On the 4chan. I'm sure the 4chan is gonna like that. I'm sure FTL is gonna get a kick out of that one, you know. I was around for that shit. You know, I was lurking in the shadows of the activist world when Catboy Cammy and Nick Fuentes linked up. You know, like I know about that saga. You know, I know about people and things that you'd be like, what the fuck? You know, there's a lot of weird shit from that world, and it's kind of funny. I remember Siege Bus as an example. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of Siege Bus, but you cannot find anything about that guy on the internet. It really makes you wonder what his deal was. But it was this dude, he claimed to live in a school bus that he hollowed out and like made into his little like you know that was his like mobile home. He used to have a fucking like pig's head. I don't know if it was real or a prop. He used to carry around a pig's head, and he fought this guy that I was like sort of cool with. There was this one dude from New York. He used to come up to Boston, and he was cool with people I was cool with. His name was Jovi. He fought Siege Bus, and I'm pretty sure no, he didn't get kicked in the head, but he did lose. You know, Jovi lost. But you know, we're getting into some like deep lore here. Not specifically Scott lore, but just, you know, lore that you had to be around for, you know. It was in the early days of Telegram being like the right wing hangout. Yeah, you know. Oh man. But yeah, you know, like I remember that, and I totally get it. You know, I totally get it. Job 43. You know, and he's saying I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. It's just my issue that before 1960 America was 90% white, but that is abhorrent in the modern culture. Yeah, no, and I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You know. And I understand why you would be concerned about that, you know. I it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, why don't we just agree not to do the worst thing to each other? Why don't I agree that when I have my brown kids, I don't teach them to hate their white side and to like always be trying to like fucking, you know, abuse everybody. And, you know, why don't you agree to not be like, all right, we're fucking we're it's time for the white revolution. Any miscegenators, all of them out, no matter what. Like, you know, why don't we just agree not to do the bad shit to each other? You know, I think that's the answer, you know. Excuse me. Um, the white mind has been trampled for the past 50 years. Yes. Yes, it has. I am firmly in the camp that any color or flavor of person can be an absolute N. I would assume you mean nincompoop. I would assume you mean nincompoop by that. All that's an attitude. Bon Jovi. Yeah. Bon Jovi. Oh, man. You know, I don't even want to get too deep into that lore because it's just like it's the type of shit that if you were to tell people about it, it would confuse them, and it would like they'd be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And they would think you're weird for even knowing about it, even though you weren't involved in any way, shape, or form. You just happened to know about a couple of guys who did some shit, you know. But yeah. Yeah. The real groypers will still welcome you. I feel you on that. I'm not attracted to white women unless they're Anne Hathaway. Is Anne Hathaway Jewish? Let's check that one out. I'm curious. I'm curious to see. We're gonna check to see if Anne Hathaway is Jewish, and then we're gonna head on out. You know, very fitting end to this to this Oh, we also got to check in on Santa Claus. He is over Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada. Nice. He's gonna be over Cold Lake, Alberta, Canada in a little bit under 2 minutes. Where's Letty from? Is she from like what province is Letty from? I'm curious about that. Anne Hathaway. Honestly, I'm just sad because half my ancestors were Confederates and my other half were Angloid chuds. Yeah. That's no fun. It's no fun to see, it's no fun to see where the world has gone. That's for sure. Specifically since those days. Anne Jacqueline Hathaway was born on November 12th, 1982. A few days before my birthday. Just, not in 1982, of course. In the Brooklyn borough of New York City. She is of Irish, English, German, and French descent. So she's like 50-50. She's like 50% Catholic, 50% Protestant. Her father, Gerald, was a labor attorney, and her mother, Kate Nee Macaulay, is a former actress. Hathaway's maternal grandfather was WIP-AM Philadelphia radio personality Joe Macaulay. According to the Daily Telegraph, she was named after William Shakespeare's wife. Interesting. She has an older brother, Michael, and a younger brother, Thomas. When Anne Hathaway was 6 years old, the family moved to Millburn, New Jersey, where she was raised. I don't want to read too. Yes, okay. So Anne Hathaway was raised as Roman Catholic with what she considers to be really strong values and wished to be a nun during her childhood. Interesting. But acting was always a high priority for her. Her relationship with the Catholic Church changed at age 15 after learning that her older brother was gay. Her family left the church, joining the Episcopal Church because of its acceptance of homosexuality, but they eventually left that too. In 2009, Hathaway described her religious beliefs as a work in progress. You see, this is one of the things you'll notice about Hollywood is that anybody who is a Christian, they always leave. They're always forced to leave. They're never allowed to just be especially a Catholic. Christian in general, but especially a Catholic. They're not allowed to be that. There's always some kind of, they were born into an Irish family, Catholic, but she practices Kabbalah now. Kamala. She practices Kamala Harris now. There's always that type of fucking bullshit all the time, and of course, it's always some stupid shit where it's like, oh, I know somebody who's gay, so actually I'm gonna fucking leave the Catholic Church. God, spirituality, no. Me. I'm me. And if this church says that I can't do whatever the fuck I want all the time, that I actually have to have some kind of self-control, and that it's not cool to just constantly be doing shit that is against what God said, well, I don't want to do that. So they go to an Episcopal church. Episcopal, however you say that stupid shit, basically one of those like, we're Christian, but ew, the Bible, ew, types of churches, Anyway. Jet Sam, please. What are you talking about? Job 43. Chris Chan said he wanted like 15K or some shit. Was there when they said what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Zach? Okay, so I know this isn't a fish tank stream, but it would be amazing if the crew could pull off getting Chris Chan onto the show. If they got Chris Chan onto the show, I would hit them up and be like, "Yo, let me on." Like when Bam visited the house, I wanted to go down, but I didn't want to get accused of showing up uninvited. So I was like, you know what? No, it's fine. I was at the season 3 house. We were doing literally um it's known by now that Soda Man got fired, you know. I really don't know too much about that. I stay out of that shit. But like the day Soda Man got fired was the day that Bam went to the house, you know. And I almost was like, yo, I'm going with you. I almost looked at Soda Man like, yo, I'm going with you. But I knew that that wouldn't have been cool. I knew that that would have been way overstepping, you know. We were doing a rehearsal that day. We were doing rehearsal so that we could get people accustomed to having to role play and stuff like that. If it was Chris Chan, I got to be honest with you, I'd bother them. I'd be texting them like, "Yo, please let me come down. Fuck, let me hold pads for Chris Chan. Let me fucking hold pads for Chris Chan." You know, just something, anything, dude. Let me throw some fucking leg kicks at Chris Chan. Let me beat the fuck out of Chris Chan's legs. Just fucking smash, you know? Something stupid like that. Um but yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, like that would be cool if they got Chris Chan, you know. 15K. I got to be honest with you. 15K, I think that's worth it. I got to be real with you. I think that's worth it. That would get the Chris Chan crowd watching. They may even become interested enough as to where they're like, okay, let's watch this. And they might buy season passes, and they would definitely buy TTSs. They would send TTSs. There's no way they wouldn't, you know. This is excuse me. Jeez. This is a like it would just be a good idea, because this one thing about Chris Chan nowadays is that he's very careful as to the projects and the people that he surrounds himself with. And because of this, to get Chris Chan on Fish Tank, it would put him in a place where he does not have curated comments and other things like that. So people would jump all over that opportunity. They would absolutely relish the opportunity to no filter say what they want to Chris Chan in the year of, I guess it's going to be 2026 now, you know? So that would be a good idea. Hand Cannon FTW says, to be serious, you would probably be welcomed if you showed up. I don't think they'd be like, what are you doing here? Get the fuck out. But I think that after I left, there would probably be some conversations. And they might be like, what the fuck did he do that for? And I might either get told to stay away, or I might not get hit up again. Very similar to what I think probably happened with Bitch Tank, if I'm being honest with you. You know, I think they were under a lot of stress. I think they took some of that stress out on me, even though they asked me to be there in the beginning of Bitch Tank, and I was just doing what I thought they wanted. They never told me not to show up. They told me to show up, and then I showed up, and then the fucking mood changed. You know, like I said, I think they were just stressed about some of the things that they were going over. When they told me, "Hey, stop showing up," I stopped showing up. Whatever, you know. But before I got told don't show up, like I said, I noticed. I feel like I was kind of cannibalized a little bit when it came to Bitch Tank. You know, um, that's just how I feel on the topic. You know, we never talked about it. If I ever tried to talk to them about it, they told me there was like no issue. But you can tell me there's no issue, but then when like certain things are happening and certain things are being said and done in the background, you know, and then certain things are happening, it's like, well, I play dumb, but I'm not dumb, you know. fucking. Anyway, Ape Escape 2 with Chris Chan. Oof. I think I'd be the one who needs to escape, and I don't think there would be an escape. Merry Christmas, Crazy Corn Snake. I apologize, but I am going to get out of here. It is 2:07 a.m. and I have some stuff that I want to do. Thank you all so much. I've been talking about it more and more. The more I look to the future, the more I don't see myself doing this all the time. You're the boxing, karate, MMA guy. If you stay in that lane, might go better for you. Well, I mean, they're the ones like I didn't hit them up to be in Blood Games. Like Jet hit me up randomly and told me, "Hey, I want you in Blood Games. You're going to be like a half vampire, half human daywalker, and you're going to be their fighting coach." Not like actual like you're going to box, but like, here's how you survive in this world. You see that gun over there? Pick it up. Aim down the sights. Like literally, like I was going to be giving them tutorials and things like that, very similar to what I did with Taylor, right? What happened with Taylor when we got ambushed, that was like exactly what Blood Games was supposed to be. Was like every now and again something like that would happen. There would be random encounters, there would be tutorials, there would be things like that, that is like peak what Blood Games was supposed to be. And that worked out so fucking well, but like we learned from the things that didn't go too well with Blood Games 1, and we were going to do more of the things that went very well with Blood Games 2. But like the point that I was making is like I never asked to be a part of anything MDE related other than Extreme Peace. And I didn't ask to be a big part of Extreme Peace. They put out a call for background characters, for extras, and I figured, one, I'd like to be an extra, but two, also, like, at the very least, I'm someone who is kind of familiar with them, and I'm not a complete idiot. So I'm not gonna go in and like knock over I'm not gonna knock the fucking like the spotlight over. I'm not gonna go in there and I'm not gonna be stupid and annoying or anything like that, I even held the spotlight. I even held the spotlight on the Steve Harvey one. There was a guy, he did most of the day, and then he was like, "Yo, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. I need a break." And I hopped up there and I did the spotlight, and I was told I did a good job. I was told I did a good job. you know, but yeah, like that's the only time I ever asked to be a part of anything fish tank related. Other than that, I just do my thing and I get hit up when they have something for me. And I guess you could say the phone just stopped ringing, but like before it stopped ringing, I was asked again, one, to be Cage on Blood Games, and then just because I was hanging around in the transitional where it's like, okay, people are getting ready to leave from Blood Games, because what happened was you had Blood Games, right? They wanted to extend it further, it just didn't work out that way, and people are all going back to wherever they're from. And well, you might have like, let's say Trish, who her plane is going to be leaving in 2 days, so she's got 2 days to hang out here. Well, I like Trish, she's cool, I'd hang out with her. Greg is gonna be here for like a whole fucking week after. Oh man, I might as well hang out with Greg. Like, I'm just taking the opportunity to hang out with these people that I've grown to know and love over the last year. And yeah, like over the last like year and a half at this point, because there's people from season 1 here. And as this is going on, Bitch Tank is slowly coming together. And since I happen to be around and there's cameras rolling, they're like, "Yo, you want to go in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Like every fucking time I was on camera, I was asked, "Yo, do you want to go in?" You know? The whole like hitting on Haley thing. I took that and I ran with it. I didn't think it was going to go the way it did, but I was told, hey, I think what you should do is you should fucking like be awkward towards the girls. You should hit on them because they're going to be stuck in there with you. And it's going to be funny seeing that. The fact that if they leave, they lose, so they don't want to leave. But you're also sitting here like, I like your hair, you know, shit like that. I mean, I was a little more suave with it. I'll be honest with you. You know, I was a little more smooth with it than that. But like, you get the idea. You know, so it's like I never overstepped my bounds. If there was ever any like bad blood, it's like it's not me. You know, like I'm not even saying that anyone's a bad guy for feeling that kind of way about it. It's just that like they were stressed in general and I was easy to take it out on for one reason or another. I think that's probably what it was, you know. Um Also as a Florida chud, my connection MDE is pretty detached because they only ever go to Orlando and Tampa. Ah, yes. Oh yes, you know. Blood Games was so good. I hope the sequel will be bigger and better. It was going to be bigger and better, I can tell you that much. I don't know what I could say and what I couldn't say. I'm going to be very careful in saying this, but the map was going to be improved. It was going to be more it was going to be more fleshed out. There was going to be more to each area. Um and that's I'm gonna leave it at that, you know, like just as an example, like even the map was gonna be like bigger and better. It was gonna be a little bit different, but it was still gonna have the same basic concept and layout. And it was gonna be a little bit more developed in certain places that were a little bit underdeveloped, you know. Like I was going to be a big part of what we had for the script. I was going to be one of like the main NPCs, to tell you the truth. Me, Brian, you know, and then a few others. We were going to be like really big parts of the story. And I was going to be not like glued to one part of the map, but there was going to be a part of the map that was kind of like, you know, like that was the area you would typically find me in. That's where I was hanging out, you know. But like I said, I don't want to say too much about that. I can't say too much about that. You know, I don't want to spoil anything, but what I've said vaguely is not anything crazy, you know. I did not watch Extreme Peace, haven't gotten to see your cameo, I think. Yeah, I think I watched the first episode or two and then I just never went back to it. I had a lot going on at the time that it was released and I just never got around to watching the other episodes. But I am in a couple of them. You can see me in the background of a couple of them, you know. Um I was like I said, I was the female comedy school one. That was the first one that I was in. Then the AI computer one. I forget exactly what that one was called, but the one with the AI that goes haywire. I was in that one. Um, and then I wasn't like in the Steve Harvey one, but like there was a bit of a running gag where like because I have the stone face, I would look straight into the camera. And because I was on the catwalk shining the light, Alex Schultz, he had an idea to keep that gag going, and he broke the fourth wall, and what he did was he was focused. He had the camera pointed at the not the cast, the crew, fuck, the crowd, the audience that was supposed to be there for the Steve Harvey show, and then he panned upwards into me standing on the catwalk with like the light, like, you know, just right here, and I'm just looking down at the camera with my like death stare, you know. That's one thing obviously didn't make the cut, you know, but they like so many things didn't make the cut, like so many things did not make the cut, you know. BG Cumby was in the AI sketch. There was supposed to be a moment where he gets kicked by Nick. Nick Rochefort kicks him in the head. Um, they're like for some reason I don't think that didn't make it. Or if it did, it was like severely, severely altered. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of stuff that ended up on the cutting room floor that was pretty cool. My extreme distaste for Redditors that try to ruin Sam's projects has only intensified since June. Yes, yes, indeed. Other than Bitch Tank, you were truly part of the show. Can't be all zingers. I mean, I think Bitch Tank, it was definitely not that good. Bitch Tank was not the best, but I think some of my best work was on Bitch Tank because a lot of the moments on Bitch Tank came down to things that I did or things that I was semi or fully involved in. So like even though Bitch Tank was haphazard, um, and it was kind of thrown together at the last minute because that's what it was. It was thrown together at the last minute. Um, I am still proud of the way that I was able to affect that because Cage as a character was really cool. I had a fun time with that, but I was not top 5 best NPCs. Let's be honest. I could think Xavier, um, Blacksmith's wife. You could maybe count them as one, but I count them differently because they are like as good as they were together. They they each had their own little thing. And then there's gotta be like 2 others. I gotta think about who the other NPCs were. I was not a top 5 NPC. Fucking Brian was so fucking awesome as Deputy Brian. He was insanely good as Deputy Brian. Goldstraven was really good. I enjoyed when Sam was like riffing with say like Xavier. Him and Xavier, they had really good chemistry, obviously. But yeah, I was not even top 5 best NPC. We can be honest about that. Maybe top 10, but like a 10 or a 9. Not like a 7 or a 6, Um so like even though I had a really fun time with that and I did a good job, eh, you know, I wasn't as prolific in it as some of the other people were, you know. Um I need like with Bitch Tank. Bitch Tank was driven forward a lot by the things that I did or was involved in one form or another, you know. Um Sorry, I'm just looking around to see if I've missed anything crazy. Comparison is the Thief of Joy. I've never seen or heard of the Thief of Joy. I feel like Lolcow Tank would be a great season just because seeing Lolcows interact would be fun, but I doubt people like Ian Joma would ever stoop that low. Yeah, yeah. You might get some that would be willing to. Like maybe you could have got King Cobra and Josh Block in a room together, but how long would that have lasted? It probably would have lasted no more than 12 hours if we're being honest here. Somebody would have pissed somebody else off, That would have happened. Lol cows are not like you could not have a lol cow boy band. You could not have a lol cow baseball team. You 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 couldn't have a lol cow team on not Jeopardy, Family Feud. You couldn't have that because part of being a lol cow a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time is being someone who cannot be dealt with. Being someone who is just like not irrevocably like unrepentantly hard to deal with, you know like Chris Chan and Josh Block would last 5 minutes around each other, and King Cobra would step in on whoever's side he thought was like, God rest a man's soul. If he was still alive, he would have stepped in on whoever's side he like agreed with, and that would have just myou know. Um, Thief of joy, like being robbed of enjoyment in what you have by jealous thought. Ah, I see. I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense now. That makes sense now. I see what you mean. But yeah, it's about time I get out of here. I wanted this to be a 2 hour stream. It turned into an almost 3.5 hour stream. By the time I'm done saying goodbye, it'll probably be 3.5 hours. You know, I like to leave on a rounded number whenever I can. If it's 2:56, I'll wait until 3 hours. If it's 3:27, I'll wait till 3.5. You know, once it hits 3.5, I'm gonna head on out. I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. Merry Christmas. Remember to venerate Christ on a day like this. That is why we're here today. Is to venerate Christ, to be thankful for his sacrifice upon the cross for us, not for himself, but for us, me and you, even the people who we despise the most, even the people who we don't think deserve it the most. None of us deserve it, but it was for all of us. Even the worst person that you could think of, it was for us. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is that anybody at any point in their life can truly decide to repent and move on, and they can have that grace, and that is a beautiful thing, you know. um Man, i'm just I'm just coping because I desperately wanted Freddie to get hassled. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the deal with season 5 is going to be. Maybe it'll come sometime, early next year. I don't know. They're doing applications for it. Maybe we'll see. They're very tight-lipped about everything. And again, like that's something that kind of ticks me off a little bit too, is when somebody who has not been around for as long as I ask them, hey, so what's going on in the fish tank world? And they're like, I can't tell you. It's like, you're gonna fucking big league the guy who's been around since season 1? What, you think I'm gonna spill it? What do you think this is? You know, that is a little bit annoying. But anyway, Merry Christmas, like I said, and just one last time, thank you for being here. Thank you for making these last couple of years of my life really fun, really entertaining. I haven't been able to do videos for a long time. I'm working on another video, but it's going to be a very low effort video. Um, and it's going to be about FSU, the hardcore crew from Boston that you can hear about them in Gangland, the TV show Gangland. But like wherever I am next year, I'm never going to forget this. And hopefully I'm still able to do this. Hopefully I'm still doing it, but regardless of where I am, thank you all. Ooh, excuse me. Anyway, so Merry Christmas one last time. And until next time, peace out.